Rated R. Under 17 nanometer without.
I don't remember if I could have actually just used that. Whatever. Oh, does
What if an appliance emergency didn't have to be? If your appliances suddenly decided they were done, don't stress. Best Buy has you covered with a wide variety of major appliances from trusted brands in stock and available now. So you don't have to worry about laundry piling up, refilling the fridge, or that big dinner party you're hosting. Because Best Buy has the knowledge and expertise to get you the right appliance for your home. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy.
I don't need it to work
Imagine
right
that.
now, but I'm just being a pain in the ass about it.
Growing family?
If I
Need
do
a
it
change of
this
scene?
way,
When life gives you a reason to move,
and
start
I
with
do
Open Door.
this,
Request a cash offer
that's
in minutes.
bigger.
No prep work or showings
How will
needed.
that work?
Or list with us and test the market with the cash offer to fall back
That should
on.
work.
You
Oh
choose.
my
Sell your way at
God.
opendoor.com. That's opendoor.com. Terms and conditions apply. Open Door Brokerage LLC and Open Door Brokerage in California DRE
Online
020
broadcast added.
61130.
I think that's the same one.
Looking in the eyes of a broken dream.
I
Another new
guessed
friend
that
torn
one
at the
for a
seams, and I don't know if it's all
while. Okay,
or
let's
someone
see.
else pulling at my strings. Living every day like it's on
Let's see what I can do
repeat.
for next
Another
time.
played out dead and
I
routine.
could have done this earlier. I'll do it again later, but I said fuck it.
Plotting out my escape again. Crawling my way from a prison cell. No one can save me but myself. I know there's something more that I'm missing. Hoping to find my place.
Oh,
Staring right into the sun. Looking for the ending before it's
easier. So much easier.
I just need a reason to bleed. It feels like my heart's going numb.
Yep. Yep.
Heart's going numb.
Okay. That.
I'm
Yes.
losing my place when I gave it all.
Hit. That. That.
Everything to
That.
survive. Just holding up just to feel alive. It's gonna try to hide. Need a way out, but I'm out of time. I
I'll do
know
that.
there's something holding me here in the bottom. Hoping to find my place somewhere. Staring right into the sun. Looking for the ending before it's begun. I just need a reason to bleed.
Good stable.
Feels like my heart's going numb.
Why are you unstable? That is my question.
Heart's going numb.
Seems like it's fine. I don't know. Alright. Well, here's a hoping that everything is working then, according to plan. What else do I need to do? There's one more thing I was looking at, but what was it? Was.
Looking for the ending before it's begun. I just need a reason to bleed. It feels like my heart's going numb. Staring right into the sun. Looking for the ending before it's begun. I just need
Alright.
a reason to bleed.
I think I'm more or less ready, so let's continue on this journey of self-discovery, I suppose. Not good. Okay, where are you at, vampire therapist? Let's go. And now I can turn off the music. Sleep Theory. Another good band. Alright, now pause. There you go. Excellent, excellent. Just look at the games. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's continue on. You know, I just played yesterday, but I guess I will go through a quick rundown again, just so you understand a little bit of what is going on. The entire purpose of this game is to, well, technically you're a cowboy vampire whom is trying to basically find peace and stuff between his other brothers, fellow vampires, through the use of psychology. It's gonna forward it again, isn't it? Oh, thank God. Alright. So, I went through 2 sessions with each of the characters so far. What we're trying to do is we're trying to... go back. Did I just... okay. There you go. No, I didn't just go to the beginning or whatever. Anyways. So we're trying to figure out cognitive distortions, which is basically things that we end up doing to ourselves to kind of justify behaviors or make ourselves miserable. There's cognitive distortions that exist, like Nosferatu thinking, basically thinking that it's going to be all or nothing, high stakes. If I can't get back in the saddle, my butt's going to break, ain't no doubt. Either I show up ready to win the rodeo, or I'd better just not show up. Basically, either, let's say, I could say something like, either I win the lottery, or my life is going to be horrible for the rest of the time. That would be an example of Nosferatu thinking. Control fallacy would be more so that thinking that we have control over everything when we do not. So like with my dark powers, vampires shall dominate the mortal world. Just because they have dark powers doesn't mean that they could actually control or dominate the mortal world, because there are other things that happen. Could be something like, let's see. If I ended up basically driving somewhere, then I'm gonna leave the family. It's called vulnerable. It's just assuming that you have more control over things that you do not actually have control over. And man, I feel like I explained this better yesterday. Labeling is just basically giving yourself a title, saying like, oh, if I'm, let's see. If I say I am attractive, then it's gonna be basically labeling yourself as attractive. So it could be an ego boost, but that's not who you are only. You're made of so many different things. Missing my shot, I'm such a butterfingers, crying over a horse, you're sappy as hell, etc. Should statements is basically indicating that whenever you say should, it is an obligation, and if you fail it, then either you made a huge mistake or you're kind of defining how you are going to act. Vampire should live in a castle. Or saying like, oh, okay, I've gone to college, so I should have a good job. It's like, no, there's nothing guaranteeing that. Disqualifying the positives, something that is very plausible that happens. It's just basically just saying that none of our positives exist and we focus on the negatives. So if I say something like, okay, man, I really suck at coloring in between the lines. That means that anything else that I could be good at, like maybe I could do accurate circles or I could draw hands, I am ignoring that aspect just because I cannot color within the lines. Personalization. Often we assume things because of us. Something we discovered yesterday. We get tempted with basically linking external events to ourselves. So an example that they use is the Vampire Country Club doesn't allow cowboy hats. They made that rule just to discriminate against me. I could say something like, I tried. I could say something in regards to like, oh, the gym does not let me inside just because they don't like mustaches. It's like, okay, well, that's a little bit ridiculous. Just because I have a mustache doesn't mean they're not letting me in for that reason. Maybe I destroyed their machines. Who knows? You cannot hold me accountable. I mean, I'm just kidding. Never did that, I hope. Emotional reasoning, making your feelings determine what exactly the outcome's going to be. I get the shivers walking into Ghost Town, so it's gotta be haunted. Let's see. It's something like, oh man, this person has made me so upset that I just know I'm gonna be angry for the rest of the time. I'm gonna have a horrible experience just being around them. Holy shit. Okay. Now I almost dropped some water on my computer. That would have sucked. Think? Ignore that heavy breathing. That just was weird. But almost dropped water. Cool. You didn't fluff it up. Perfect. But yeah, so basically I feel uncomfortable around them young vampires. They must be up to no good. Yeah. That's usually like a connection that people make about, like, I guess elders. Basically, oh, these young folk are always gonna mess up my lawn, so get the hell off my lawn. Doesn't matter if you're a good person, just get the hell off my lawn because I'm already assuming the worst. Overgeneralization, basically, end all be alls. Every time I play poker, I lose. I'll never win this game. Every time I go to casino, I'm always gonna lose money. What's it called? No matter how much I study, I'm never going to be smart enough for something. Things like that. That's what overgeneralization we did. So Dr. Drain, we've discovered, is very hard on himself. He feels like he, as a vampire, he has to accomplish a lot more goals. He likes a logical approach. He doesn't sleep. He's irritable because he rarely gets any sleep because he's too afraid to rest. He basically uses a lot of shit statements, him and his other form as well. Obsessed with work, doesn't seem to like vampires, but yeah, he's addicted to a thing called plasma, which helped us see a different character, which is Luridus, which is his other personality, who constantly hates and undermines Dr. Drain. Is basically his opposite, whom only thinks about the animalistic tendencies of sex, food, and sleep. I don't know why I clapped. This is weird. Anyways, so that's basically what happened in the second session, the first and second session. There is Isabella, whom I, for some reason, cannot get. It was cognitive dissonance, or cognitive things. I'm getting a brain fart already. Cognitive. Oh my god. Distortions. Oh my god. I failed miserably. Yeah, cognitive distortions. Can't seem to get it right with her. She's extremely high-minded. She thinks that, well, that she's the one that ended up creating the arts. We started learning more that she has had family issues and feeling like she has to control things in order for her family life to be well. And yeah, she's always taken a lot more responsibilities on her shoulders, which has made her very despondent when it comes to art nowadays. Edmund Keane, very self-centered, very into the arts and what's it called, being an actor. So he feels like he ended up creating what acting should be and everybody should follow him. He hates being criticized. He likes gaslighting people if things do not go the way that he wants to. But yeah, he basically was not manipulated, but he was pushed to succeed without really being given care while he's been growing up. So yeah, he's obsessed with the audience. He doesn't really look at the good that people do, or with other actors. He just always criticizes. And yeah. He has the same thinking as when he was a kid, because he felt like he was betrayed and left behind by a parental figure, as his dad. And then Medi is the last one that I end up dealing with. But yeah, she feels overwhelmed. She is a streamer who always wants her, basically, followers to do whatever she wants. She's bad at setting up boundaries. If she wants something, she's gonna want it a certain way. And yeah, she overgeneralizes and sees everybody as the same, all humans, because she's gone through a lot. She's been abused, had her eye taken out, been called a witch, just because she didn't follow the teachings, or she didn't do things like she was told she had to. But yeah. Anyway, with that said and done, let's continue on. Samuel, my dear, I do look forward to our chats. How are you feeling tonight? And this is probably the moment where we're gonna find more cognitive dissonances? No. Holy... Not dissonances. What the hell is it called? Distortions. Alright, I will remember that. Probably the game might end, but I will remember that. Okay. Let's continue.
I gotta confess, boss, I'm a little down. I love helping other vampires, but getting therapy myself sometimes ain't much fun.
I understand. Looking in the mirror is difficult for any human, much more so when they don't cast a reflection.
You ain't kidding. It just seems like there's always work to do, you know? Like my walking in the woods for 90 years wasn't nearly enough time.
I dare say you are correct. I believe that we must never cease our walking in the woods. There is no mystery deeper than that of our own existence.
Where do vampires come from anyway?
Well, Samuel, when two vampires love each other
Very much. Oh my god, I'm learning the
Boss,
first of
that's
these.
not what I'm asking. Where do we come from?
The answer to that is much older than recorded history, my friend. But let us focus on you. We should start with some meditation and determine what thoughts are most important to you right now. Close your eyes and envision your place of comfort.
I ain't good at being a therapist. Is my hat weird? Ich bin Sam. Ich bin uncool. Election looks real bad back home. Dr. Drain thinks I'm brain damaged. Why'd my mama have to marry that asshole? When's the sunrise? The Senora hates my guts. Sure wish you were still here, Jeb. Actors need help, that's for dang sure. Wish I had more book smarts. Betty scares the heck out of me. You're an idiot, Sam, hurting all them folk. Why'd I join up with a gang in the first place?
How are you feeling, my friend?
Pretty good. I gotta say, my head's been a mess of thoughts lately. I think I was afraid of therapy today.
Why is that?
Which
my
we all
friend?
are.
What thoughts came up?
Well, after last time, I think I was stewing a bit. Just being real angry at myself for joining that nasty cult in the first place.
They preyed on the vulnerable, as cults tend to do. If you had been a man of means with a robust support system, I doubt they would have noticed you.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, I'm mad about that too. I mean, my country did me real wrong and put me in that sorry state to begin with.
This sounds like a proverbial can of worms.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. After we talked last time, I kept thinking, what could I have done differently? And the answer amounts to horse shit. All that law-breaking I did, all that murdering and stealing and doing no good, that was my country failing me.
Yeah, it's going down a different route.
Let us slow down, Samuel. You are making a bit of a logical leap. I have great admiration and empathy for you, my friend, but it is disrespectful to those you hurt to blame anyone but yourself.
Yeah, then you can blame yourself, but I not do so too
I mean, I guess I
much.
could have died. Suppose that would have been kinder. But that's a lot to ask a boy to do.
I am not suggesting that you should have died, and I do not suggest that your country was without fault. However, your country had its role, and you had yours. You are using a cognitive distortion called blaming.
Blaming.
When we engage in blaming, we ignore or wipe away our own faults, attributing them to someone or something else.
It's all everybody else's fault except my
Our
own.
faults are precious, Samuel. We cannot be ourselves without them. Do not wipe them away.
I mean, I just wish things hadn't been the way they were. If my country had taken a better trail, maybe I would have turned out different.
Differently. I am sorry to interrupt, but Senora Deste might correct you less gently. Now then, perhaps it would help to put blaming into perspective. It is always humbling to see ourselves in the mirrors of our minds, is it not? Let's try some examples. See if you can tell when I am blaming. I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into a tree. Who put that tree there?
Yeah, you're blaming it.
Blaming someone else or the tree for you being clumsy, that ain't gonna do anyone much good.
Yeah.
I smacked into my fair share of trees back when I was a youngster, but that was definitely my fault.
Yeah.
Of course, there is no shame in being a novice flyer as a young vampire, but we can be insecure creatures. That's our humanity at work.
Yep, we never want to be seen as
I was unable to perform in
valuable.
bed with Crimson the other night. It must have been her fault.
her fault.
Dang, that is some blaming. Takes two to tango, boss. Maybe there's some bad blood brewing between you two, and I wish I hadn't heard about it.
Do not worry, my friend. Crimson and I bring each other great satisfaction.
Very good, man.
All right, I get it.
I said nothing lurid, Samuel. Why are you so distressed?
Singing great satisfaction. It's like hearing your parents talking about their sex lives. I mean, not that you're. I mean, I'll forget I said anything.
All right, Samuel, let us move on. The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect anyone to use this cursed thing?
They're not blaming in this regard. It is venting.
Did you see the football game the other night? My preferred team played with great skill and should have won. The referee was clearly an agent of the Dark Lord.
And now hold on, Andy. I think I saw the game you're talking about, and you're just blaming the ref for your team's mistakes. You got a great tight end, but one that plays a little dirty.
Excuse me?
I didn't mean it like that. Oh, heck, I can't talk right today.
Yeah, I mean, it feels the exact same way, Sam. Holy
It's quite
shit.
all right. Isn't getting dirty the point of play? It is the fault of the cursed sun that we must live in darkness.
I mean,
The sun can't help blame the sun, so don't go blaming it. The way I see it, we got our place, and that ain't nobody's fault.
Well done, Samuel. Perhaps the sun is even more brilliant in our memories, and seeing the real thing would spoil it.
Well, that's one way of thinking about it.
There are some blaming distortions you missed in there, my friend. Listen once more.
okay, so all
I
of them are
turned into a
blaming.
bat the other day and flew right into a tree.
I blame
Blaming
that
I
one.
smacked into my.
Of course, I was unable to perform in bed.
Dang, that
See,
is
that was her fault.
All right, I get
I said nothing lurid, Samuel.
singing.
So it was all of them.
The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern.
Come on now, boss. Not every app out there is designed too good, but we can't expect machines to run themselves. Well, that's some blaming right there.
You
Okay.
are correct, Samuel. It was only hypothetical, of course. I do endeavor to keep up with the times.
Good for you.
By the way, thank you again for teaching me Control V and Control C the other night. What a delightful trick.
So useful. So useful.
Oh, yeah. Way faster than going through the edit menu all the time.
You youngsters always find the latest tricks. Let's keep going, though.
Alright.
I think I get it. I ain't trying to erase what I did. I'm just bitter that I felt like I had no choice at all. And it all goes back to the United States taking my daddy away for their manifest destiny. I'm mad at him, too. Dying for his country. What kind of nonsense is that? How'd his country pay him back? By making my poor ma marry a drunk who beat the daylights out of her and his kids? Ain't no damn wonder I turned out the way I did.
That must have been devastating, Samuel. Countries are not human. They cannot feel. And stories such as yours prove it.
I mean, what the hell, Andy? My daddy's corpse didn't give a shit about no United States of America. It's kind of funny when you think about it. He died fighting the British so the U.S. could say they own Missouri. Who the fuck cares? I'm
Damn.
telling you, Andy, the best thing about being
Preach.
dead is realizing how little that nationalism crap matters.
Desire for identity can create monsters worse than we. What happened after your father died?
Well, we didn't have nothing. The money was running out, so my ma got married to a hard man who drank even harder. He beat up my older brother, Jeb, for fun. And once Jeb started fighting back, dear old stepdad came for me. And that's when my brother killed him.
It sounds like a tragedy from my own country's mythology. I am sorry that such a thing happened to you, Samuel. Your brother was brave.
No kidding. We went on the run together, but he was the one who kept us alive and fed, mostly through stealing and begging. Once we stopped being cute, begging didn't work anymore, so we moved up to robbing and killing. Killed my first man at 12, and then it got a little too easy.
That is young. I cannot imagine how difficult that must have been, Samuel. My country asked me to kill at 20, and I still remember how devastating it felt.
Being even younger.
Nobody told me to do it. Like you said, that was all me. I don't think anyone was surprised either. When my brother and I rode into a town, you should have seen
Apologize
the
for
way
that.
people looked at us.
My pupper
They knew
Ebony.
we were trouble, and we were determined as hell to prove them right.
A moment, Samuel. I believe this is an opportunity for some growth.
Oh my goodness. Next one.
It's them distortions again, huh?
Distortion.
To err is human, as they say. Do not be discouraged. There is something in what you just said that you cannot be sure of. Can you tell me what it is?
Stop being cute. I mean, of course. That's just this.
Is it that I stopped being cute?
Well, yes, that is certainly a distortion. My patrons have told me they find you adorable. But I was looking for a different distortion.
Damn. Alright, I thought that was right. Alright, let's just use
You ain't saying nationalism is a good thing, are you?
I am over 3,000 years old, Samuel. I have seen every great nation die. What do you think?
That means he does respect
Oh, it ain't
nationalism.
that
I get it. Alright.
I guess there ain't no way of knowing that people thought we were trouble.
Yeah.
That's right, Samuel. There is one way of knowing exactly what they were thinking, and that would be to read their minds. Thus is the cognitive distortion called mind reading. Yes, we can weigh evidence and make predictions, but never with complete certainty.
I was a dirty little thieving murderer. I don't blame him for judging me.
Yeah, you're labeling yourself.
First, that's labeling.
Yep.
Second, one of those people might have been patient and gentle, one that had an experience like yours. You cannot know.
There's no guarantee
Your
to
mind
anything.
reading. Do you see how you made everyone your enemy?
Yeah. You're right. You're damn right.
No one expects a child to be perfectly aware of themselves and the world, Samuel. Remember, start with compassion for yourself. Here, let us do an
A lot of
exercise
hard
to help
things to
you
do, but
recognize mind
it's
reading.
possible.
Jesus Christ would have disliked the idea of anal intercourse.
Yeah, you do not know that for sure.
I know that's mind reading right there. Unless you asked Jesus Christ himself and he told you, there's no way you'd know how he feels about butt sex.
Very good, Samuel. Many in my time have claimed to know the mind of Jesus Christ, and none of them have ever even met him.
You were there when he was kicking around. You ever meet him?
No, that part of the world was never really vampire friendly. The chair you're sitting in is one of his, though. Magnificent, isn't it?
Jesus Christ made this chair?
I bought it cheaply before he became a big deal. He was certainly ahead of his time as a carpenter.
Nice.
Dang. Now I feel awkward sitting in this thing.
It's more than 2,000 years old, Samuel. It is still just a chair and has experienced millennia of past wind. Don't worry about it.
Perfect.
Crimson is upset with me because I forgot to take out the garbage. I know because she told me so.
The fact that she told you so doesn't mean you're reading her mind.
I sent my friend Vlad an internet message and he left it on red. He must hate me.
Not knowing, hey, maybe he's busy that moment or whatever. That's mind reading.
That's some mind reading for sure. There's no way you know what Vlad's thinking. Maybe he wasn't ready to answer, or maybe he forgot.
Yep.
Excellent, Samuel. That's correct. There are endless reasons why Vlad would leave my messages on red, and only Vlad knows them. Reading too much into an internet message is a massive waste of time.
No, don't I know it?
Pony Express
Don't
was a lot
I
healthier,
know?
I think. This internet stuff makes people get real nutty.
Mortals are in more of a rush than we are, I'm afraid. Let us continue.
Yes.
One of the patrons of my club was having dirty thoughts about me. I know because I read his mind with my vampiric powers.
That's still technically mind reading. I mean, technically, yeah.
Wait just a sec. That's definitely mind reading. You read the fella's mind, so you knew what he was thinking.
Aha, that was a trick example, Samuel. It is not a cognitive distortion if I know the contents of his mind for sure.
You bastard. Trick question.
However, while it is not a distortion, it is rude to read another's thoughts, so I choose not to do so. It is better for all if private thoughts remain so.
You didn't actually read his mind then.
No, but at my age, the signals are obvious. He was having very dirty thoughts indeed. Would you like to hear them?
For sure.
Come on, boss.
I can't resist teasing the American a little. I will proceed with more mind-reading statements. I told our bouncer, Bert, a funny joke the other day. He was quiet, but very amused.
I'm assuming that he was amused.
How the heck would you know if Bert was amused by your jokes? That's clearly mind reading.
You are correct, Samuel. No one knows what Bert is thinking.
No.
I like to think he dreams of butterflies. But who can say?
I don't think he's thinking of butterflies.
Then you are mind-reading, Samuel. Let Bert be Bert.
Yeah, I guess so.
I believe you now understand that mind-reading may have closed the door on some opportunities for you.
I suppose. I can't really know either way, but I guess that's the point of all this. Knowing what's real and what's not.
Exactly, Samuel. So tell me, what happened to you and your brother?
You don't know already. I thought we were famous Wild West outlaws. They called us the Handsome Boys on account of the fact that we were young and good looking. I think we made as close to a living as possible while keeping up a life like that for some 35 years. They stopped calling us the Handsome Boys eventually. Mostly they just called us those two bitches. Jeb and I married a pair of sisters, even talked about settling down in some kind of fashion. I guess we got greedy though. One last big job, as they say in the pictures. Met this fella in a saloon who'd heard of us. Went by Ernie. He said he'd help us take down the Pioneer Missouri Bank. A take of $30,000, split 3 ways. That's about $1 million in today's dollars, but that kind of money was unthinkable back when. We got the money all right, but my brother got shot in the head. Dead before he even hit the ground. I didn't know who did it, so in my rage, I killed every soul in that bank. Ernie and I ran off with that dirty money, but weren't nothing the same after that. When she heard the news, my sister-in-law was screaming so loud she scared the coyotes away. My wife left with her that night, and I didn't see either of them ever again. Not sure I wanted to. I had $15,000 and no interest in spending it. Just sat there in a sack. When Ernie invited me to join his gang, I saw no reason not to. I'm pretty sure I signed that devil's contract as soon as I started killing them folks in the bank.
I am sorry, Samuel. That is a truly horrifying story. I can hear the pain in your voice. Your brother was precious to you.
Yeah. He wasn't a good man, Andy. But he kept me safe. Without him, I knew I'd be doomed. I was certain I had no choice but to join the Mystic Bastards.
Them bastards.
Yeah, I know. Cognitive distortion.
I know you know, Samuel. A new one, but I think you can identify it on your own. What is the cognitive distortion you are displaying now?
My brother wasn't better at Batman.
I was so sure I was right to join the Mystic Bastards. Ain't nobody could have convinced me otherwise.
Indeed, Samuel. This cognitive distortion is known as being always right. And when you are always right, your choices are limited, even if they lead to doom. We become so convinced that only we have the appropriate perspective, even in a world of infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
One would expect immortals to be immune to this distortion after seeing their beliefs challenged over generations. But we are just as susceptible to being always right. Let's try some examples so you can identify when I am always right. I have the experience of ages. My authority cannot be questioned.
Always right.
Okay, Boomer.
Excuse me?
Just something I hear the kids say when old mortal folk are acting like they're always right. The folks born after World War II are real good at destroying the world, but they assume age leads to wisdom. It ain't necessarily so.
You are always right about that. Well done, Samuel.
Hey.
With my multi-generational economic expertise, I am confident that market conditions will result in mass layoffs in the next quarter.
It's still always right because you do have information, but that doesn't guarantee.
Hold on, you
anything.
can't know the layoffs are gonna happen after the next financial quarter.
I did not say that I was certain,
Oh.
just that I had earned confidence in my prediction.
Yeah, okay.
Modern stock markets are run by a cabal of dark cultists, and one can make educated predictions about their behavior.
Alright.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, they sacrifice all to the dark god of ever-increasing profit. You should know this, Samuel. Their dark gospel reigns supreme in your land.
Yeah, my god.
Oh, right. I guess I never thought as institutional investment bankers as dark cultists, but you're right. That's exactly what they are.
If only they had chosen a more ethical god than unrestrained capitalism.
Get restrained.
I know that turning another into a vampire inevitably results in resentment.
Inevitably, yeah.
That sounds like you're always right. I know a lot of us vampires ain't too happy with our lot in life, but we ain't always resentful.
That is correct, Samuel. Of course, we must be careful when choosing whom we turn and when. Choosing to live forever is not a choice casually made.
It ain't usually a choice at all.
But we will endeavor to break that cycle, my friend. We have enough clients already without having more resentful immortals running around. I know for a fact that vampires become misanthropic as they age.
I know
I
for
do
a
not
fact.
need your perspective.
And now hold on, you ain't always right. You thinking we're gonna turn into misanthropes is limiting you from making new vampires, but that's just your thinking.
Very good, my dear Samuel. Caution is warranted when bringing a new soul into the dark, but I must consider perspectives other than my own. I have not had much good fortune with my children of darkness, but I am indeed not the only judge of character.
You got kids, Andy?
I had many dark children before I recognized the gravity inherent in doing so. I only wish more of my brethren could learn what a responsibility it is to begin the unlife of another. I know the internet is a passing fad. I have seen technology come and go, so I can trust my own expertise.
He has experiences, so I don't think it would be considered always right. Because, like, I can trust my expertise. Yeah, you have that self-confidence, but that doesn't guarantee that. It doesn't mean that you're seeing it as always right. You just have confidence in yourself. So.
There are still some always right cognitive distortions to find, my friend.
Oh my god, so
Yes,
the last
of
one.
nature.
I
My
failed.
authority
Alright.
cannot be questioned.
Oh,
Like, right.
just the folks born
Skip that
in
one.
With my multi-generational economic expertise, I am confident that market conditions will result in mass
That's
layoffs in the next quarter.
Having confidence, but that doesn't mean that you're saying that you're right.
Hold on, you.
Helps.
I did more.
Wait, are
Yes.
Skip it.
All right.
Oh god.
If only
I
I
failed
had
miserably.
chosen a more, I know that turning another into a vampire inevitably.
that sounds like you're always right.
That is,
It ain't usually a choice.
but we will. I know for a fact that vampires become misanthropic as they age.
And now hold on,
Very good, Mike. I have not had much good fortune.
you got.
I had many. I only wish. I know the internet is a passing fad.
I think you're doing a little always right there, Andy. A lot of folks had unwavering confidence that the fax machine was gonna stick around forever, but they weren't right neither.
Truly, I still use my fax machine. It is the preferred mode of communication among vampires here in Germany.
Noise.
Heck, I guess that just proves no one is always right about technology.
Hey yo.
I think I get it, boss. If I had found folks to listen to other than myself, maybe I wouldn't have joined up with Ernie's gang.
Perhaps, perhaps not. You had plenty of reasons for making the choices you made. Reflecting on them is what helps us to grow.
Yeah, I'm a lucky fella all in all. I did some stuff with those vampires that I was pretty sure erased any humanity I had left, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
Them transcendentalists I hold up with were ready to help me no matter how nasty I was. And I know I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything.
I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything. Is that so, Samuel? Can you point out your own distortion there?
Disqualifying the positive because you're not giving yourself the credit for changing yourself. You're saying it's all because of them.
It's my old favorite sneaking up on me, disqualifying the positive. I did plenty of work on myself.
Exactly.
That's right, Samuel. And why were the transcendentalists able to help you? We just went over it tonight.
Because he gave himself the opportunity to change. Because I wasn't blaming, I wasn't mind reading. right.
I realized I wasn't always right. I was ready to start receiving help.
Excellent, Samuel. Your capacity for self-reflection, and so quickly, is truly inspiring. I almost feel as though my blood is circulating on its own.
Oh, come on, Andy. I'm just a fella.
You have earned a
Just a
reprieve from
man.
disqualifying the positive, my friend. Embrace it. I believe we have had a productive session today. Let us not press matters. This is difficult work, and you are handling it wonderfully. How do you feel?
You know, I feel okay. Somehow it's better than feeling good. What happened is what happened. Some bad stuff happened to me, and I did some bad stuff. None of it lasts forever. That's the nice thing about having all the time in the world.
Your trials have made you wise indeed, my dear Samuel.
Calm that down, little ones.
Now rest, my friend. You shall soon share your wisdom with your clients. I wish you a good night.
Alright, give me a quick second. I will be right back. Pupper is trying to escape, and I have no clue why. So I will back in a moment. Okay. At least put some music on. I'm hoping it'll work when I have this off my head. Do not breathe. Alright. There you go. You're back.
I can feel it when you come around. You can say it loud but never make a sound. Even with a look, I know it's going down. Save us both some time and just say it. You was eternal and joy seemed to last yesterday. Forever is gone. Because the sun always sets, the moon always falls. It feels like the end just paid no mind at all. They keep a rolling, rolling. Life must go on.
go. That's good cook. Alright. Keep it going. And then it stopped. Of course it did. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that without it stopping the original. We'll figure it out. Anywho, let's go. Time to continue. Alright, my friend. You shall soon share your wisdom with your clients. I wish you good night.
Yeah, I believe it's early coffin time for me tonight. Have a good night, Andy.
You as well, Samuel. Rest in peace.
Thank you, thank you.
Samuel, greetings. You look a bit pale. May I offer you something to drink?
Sure.
Yeah, you got any drinker's blood?
Drinker's blood.
I know you are joking. You will not dilute your blood before a session.
Yeah, I know, you're right. I just don't know who I'm meeting tonight. Is it gonna be Dr. Drain or that Lord Luridus fella?
You only met a single individual last time, and you will meet only a single individual this time.
Alright.
Do not let Dr. Drain's avoidance of accountability confuse you.
You saw the guy, though. Lord Luridus ain't nothing like Dr. Drain.
And why do you think that is, Samuel?
Demon or something. Opposites attract. It's good for Dr. Drain to blame.
Well, maybe it's easier for Dr. Drain to blame Lord Luridus.
Correct, Samuel. A mild change in personality would be within Dr. Drain's control. Luridus is not, and therefore, Dr. Drain relinquishes control. Prepare yourself, my friend. Let us find the darkness that lives within Dr. Drain.
Alright, let's do it. His statements is a main issue. I feel like he's always talking about being always right. Overgeneralization, I don't think I used with him before. He does let his emotions dictate most of the things that he talks about. He doesn't give himself enough credit. And does he personalize things? Control fallacy might work. He does blame. He's blaming his other personality. I don't know if that would count. But I guess we could give it a try. Why not? Let's go.
All right, I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Alright, let's go.
Do not fear, Samuel. I shall not let Dr. Drain hurt you, no matter what he is calling himself. Do what you do best.
I will, I promise. And here he comes, whoever he is today.
Let's see who it is. Let's see who it is.
Doc.
Somewhat taciturn today, then. Well, don't be upset with me. I did warn you about that beast. At least now you recognize the urgency in being rid of him. Perhaps now we can stop beating about the bush and actually fix my addiction problem.
I'm here to help, but if we're gonna lick this thing, we gotta do it honestly. And that means getting to the root of the problem.
Yo.
I tire of this self-examination process. There must be something efficacious that I can do. Perhaps some sort of aversion therapy. I am willing to do whatever it takes to make that villain just go away.
Then you gotta be willing to address the big old elephant in the room.
And what is that?
And Lord Luridus are the same person. Lord Oh, that Lord Luridus. Kinda hot.
I hate to say it, but Lord Luridus is kinda hot, ain't he?
I've never seen the man, and I fail to see what relevance his physical appearance has to my problem.
Well, I just thought you should know.
I could perform an MRI on you, you know. Perhaps rigor mortis has hit your brain.
Possibly.
Actually, it was something else I was gonna mention.
Yo. Alright, you and Lord Luridus are the same person.
You and Lord Luridus ain't two different people. You keep talking about him like he's someone else, but you both got the same brain in there.
Complete and utter nonsense. You've met him. We share absolutely nothing in common. And what's more, I am fully aware that he hates me. Take a look at this note he left on my desk.
That's supposed to be you there with
Tiny.
the micro penis?
Nice.
Indeed. Juvenile humor, to be sure. Certainly nothing I would produce.
Ain't he got the same penis, though?
Quite so. I have no doubt he does the most terrible things with it.
So somehow he's got a different brain than you do, but the same penis. Something ain't adding up here, Doc.
I resent what you are suggesting. I have no effect on what Lord Luridus does.
Blaming. Blaming.
I know you're a pretty responsible
Hell yeah.
fella, but you're
He's
giving
saying
Lord
it's not
Luridus
Lord.
more credit than he deserves.
Yep.
What on earth
Saying
are you
that's
talking
his
about?
fault. That he's doing everything. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Ebony.
You know that old stereotype mortals like to spread about us where we can't go into a place until we're invited?
A
Stereotype.
ludicrous idea with no basis in scientific truth.
Alright.
Ain't you giving Lord Luridus your permission to come in and do what he does when you take that plasma stuff?
I didn't invite him in the first time. I had no idea what I had created. That his presence would become an addiction was not known to me.
Dr. Drain, you're
sure
a
about that?
scientist. Your stock and trade is in facts, ain't it? Let's leave thought out of this for now. You gotta be my scientist here and stick to what we know.
Very well. Yes. The genesis of Lord Luridus was in the actions and choices I took. Are you quite satisfied?
Doc, we ain't here for my satisfaction. Do you really think that?
Well, the fact that I am upset right now certainly lends credence to the idea that you are trying to shame me.
Yeah, so it's basically letting his emotions dictate what exactly the other person is feeling. So,
Let's
emotional
go
reasoning.
back to the science, Doc. Can you say with all confidence that I'm trying to shame you?
No, I cannot.
You can't read my mind, Doc. Or at least far as I know, you can't. But if you could, you'd know what'd make me real satisfied is helping you out. I get that you're upset. This is tough stuff to face. But that don't make me a bad guy for talking about it. I'm here to help you face it. I won't lie to you, Doc. The people that Lord Luridus has hurt probably would have a bone to pick with you. But I ain't here to punish nobody. That ain't the way to help you. In this room, we're working together. You're doing the hard work, and I'm just giving you support. Catch my drift, partner?
And so you do me even greater shame through kindness. I cannot win. Perhaps I should simply let that beast, Lord Luridus, have his way with me.
Should statement. Alright, anyways.
Come on now, Doc.
That
You're
was easy.
jumping right to doom there. There are so many ways this therapy thing could go for you. It ain't we destroy Lord Luridus or Lord Luridus wins. Jumping right to catastrophe just ain't realistic. Already you're fighting him by being here. That means there's definitely something in the middle. And working together, we'll make things better. Maybe not completely better. This work ain't never done.
Never
Of
done.
course, I am forgetting myself. I'm not usually prone to extremes. I shall attempt to be more mindful.
Excellent.
I ain't expecting you to be perfect, Doc. And I don't want you to expect perfection from yourself either. What I'm asking you for is self-compassion.
The most important thing
That
to
ain't
ever
erasing
have.
blame. It's just approaching yourself from a place of understanding. That's a scientific method, ain't it?
I doubt many in the scientific community would agree with such a statement, but I believe I understand the thrust of it. We cannot address facts if we mask them in emotionality.
That's exactly it, Doc. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Indeed. Thus my attempt to synthesize the thought properly.
Well, thank the dark powers that made us. Someone in here's the smart one.
Very well. We shall take a strategic, scientifically sound approach. We will agree upon facts, develop hypotheses, test, and validate.
Let's go.
If I rely on the science, I will never be wrong.
That is always right.
Hold on a sec. Before we jump in, Doc, I gotta challenge you. Even science ain't gonna make it certain you're always right. The answers science gives you might not be the answers that are best for you. I just want you to keep your mind open, all right?
Yeah.
My mind is always open. I'm a scientist.
Shit.
I'm just gonna reflect that back to you and see if you think that's true. You're saying being a scientist means your mind is always, without fail, open.
Well, I suppose that sounds a bit ridiculous. Very well. I shall endeavor to ensure that my thinking is flexible.
That's a spirit.
Well, sounds good to me, compadre. Let's start assembling them facts. Can I ask you some questions then?
You may. Let us begin.
All right, so you told me that the thing that makes your plasma addicting is how good it makes you feel when you wake up from it. From your scientific perspective, what makes it feel good?
From a chemical perspective, good feelings, or positive emotions, are the result of neurotransmitter action. Considering the specific emotions felt in the immediate moment are contentment and satisfaction, it is certain that I am experiencing an oxytocin and dopamine release. It is a primal limbic response. In laboratory settings, we observe a constant drive in animals towards stimulating the release of amygdala-receptive neurotransmitters.
I think you're gonna need to boil that down for me, Doc.
I did not come here to teach, but so be it. Ask your questions.
Alright, let's go. I mean, this is all talking about psychology, which I am not the greatest with the biological aspect, but
But what's the limbic system do?
Yep.
The limbic system functions as the emotional center of the brain, responsible for emotional responses such as joy, fear, and anger.
So it's like the part of my brain deciding if I should be scared of a rattlesnake or happy about a belly full of blood?
Precisely. It plays a crucial role in forming memories and making decisions based on emotional experiences. Often called the lizard brain, it's evolutionarily one of the older parts of the brain, indicating its fundamental role in regulating survival instincts.
I've been called lizard brain before, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a compliment.
Ew.
What's this about neurotransmitters?
Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that neurons use to communicate with each other. For example, social bonding reliably triggers a release of oxytocin, creating a sense of security and attachment.
So if I'm reading you right, when I'm feeling all snug after a good feed, is them oxytocin neurotransmitters doing their thing?
Exactly. This process is an integral part of our brain's reward system, encouraging behaviors that are perceived as beneficial for our survival and well-being.
So survival feels good, basically.
Yes, though I would not publish such a statement in an academic paper.
Alright, how is that all?
So what's all this stuff really mean in the end, Doc? Why does this neurotransmitter stuff even matter?
An intriguing question. Naturally, emotion does not have a practical evolutionary application on its own. However, these emotions signal to the reptilian brain whether or not we are under threat.
Well, dang, now I think we're getting somewhere. I think the answer's right in front of us.
Oh? And what is it that your rooting, tooting brain can synthesize that mine cannot?
You need a psychiatrist. Oh, you need a
Oh, you
psychiatrist.
should see a psychiatrist. Maybe get some of them neurotransmitters in pill form.
I am not eager to replace one chemical dependency with another. I came to you to free myself of such needs.
Damn,
Dr.
man.
Drain, the pill-popping vampire, does not have the nicest ring to it.
I mean, it kind of flowed
Oh, maybe the real
the
thing is,
tongue, you know? You need to-
seems to me living like an animal is what you're craving. Well, maybe you could spend a little time living in the woods.
Of course, these are not right.
Yes, Dr. Drain, the man of the wilds. A fetching idea, if I were an entirely different person. I wasn't very outdoorsy in life either. This pale skin tone of mine did not change after death.
Well, I guess outdoor living ain't for everyone. Well, maybe the real meat of it is. You don't feel safe on your own. Taking that plasma forces you to get that neurotransmitter hit.
An intriguing theory. However, evidence stands against it. Like it or not, I am a vampire. The only thing that may threaten me is the sun or a more powerful vampire.
Or yourself.
I should not be experiencing feelings of mortal danger. I am not immortal. Logically, I should know such a thing is ridiculous.
Shit, statements.
There's them should
Always with the
statements again,
shoulds.
Doc. It doesn't matter what logic says. You still got that part of your brain that says it's in danger, and that part doesn't care about logic.
An astute point, and an inconvenient one. That we should be saddled with such vestigial, primal concerns is most unfortunate.
Can't avoid the fact that we still got them human concerns. At least we don't gotta poop, huh?
Oh dear, and you are doing so well. At least I have nothing to fear from you.
Perfect.
It's true, though. We're still animals, partner. We gotta satisfy the animal. Just not through pooping.
Yeah. All about the poop.
But we are immortal. Why do we have animal needs, fears, and emotions? What possible use do they have?
Disqualifying the positive.
Sometimes, Doc, you are just too smart for your own good. You're logicking away all the good things about being human. I mean, let's say we freed ourselves from those biological concerns. Got rid of all them fears and insecurities and quirks. Why are we doing anything then? I don't know about you, Doc, but I don't want to turn into a computer. All them great discoveries and works of art came from our humanity.
Perhaps it is so. Do you know, I've met Isaac Newton several times. The young fellow was motivated indeed, but it was his human vindictiveness that made him so effective. All those motherfuckers who called me a nerd are going to pay, mark my words, he would say. Or something along those lines.
Love it.
So, he was making sure none of those motherfuckers could hurt him.
That was certainly part of it. It was not just a love of science that drove the man. It is such a disappointing notion, however, to think that we cannot transcend our reptilian brain, even when we are beyond death.
We're dealing in facts, though, and I think what we're coming to is that your reptilian brain doesn't feel safe.
Which is absolutely ridiculous, but I must admit that it is somehow true. What a devastating revelation. Dr. Drain, for all his scientific achievement, is just an emotional little laboratory rat who bases all his decisions in fear.
I mean, he's talking about disqualifying the positives.
Man, you just jump right to that extreme. You're probably the smartest fella I ever met, Doc. You ain't a science god, but who is? I think there's a lot of room between being a lab rat and being the perfect logical being.
You are, of course, correct. I'm letting my emotions get the better of me. Most unscientific.
Most unscientific.
Doc,
Indeed.
I want to go back to one of them things I was
Crazy
telling you about in our
bastard.
first session, and that's self-compassion. Let's say you had some vampire apprentice, a scientist like you, who didn't know nothing like what you know, and said they were down on themselves for all the reasons you are. What would you say to them?
Well, I would explain that progress is non-linear. The scientific method, in fact, celebrates failure. That which does not conform to theory still informs theory.
Any chance you could put the scientist away and talk to their human side?
Well, I suppose I would say that it is fine, that all things are temporary, and the universe does not care to condemn them.
Yee.
So how can we get you to say them things to yourself, Doc?
My situation is not the same. I was trained in the age of discovery. I bear the responsibility for that age.
No, you do not.
But if this project of mine, to create the blood that will sustain the world, is not what I am here for, then what is my purpose?
Well, let me ask you.
Should watch
What's
Soul.
the purpose of a gopher?
Rodentia, Geomedy. Rodents endemic to North America, known for their tunneling ability and as agricultural pests. I believe they are the prey of owls, snakes, and coyotes, and are omnivorous themselves, consuming vegetables, insects, and small mammals.
I wasn't expecting you to be so thorough. I don't think I knew half that stuff.
Yep.
I have come to learn nearly everything there is to know about mammalian biology as a result of my research. Please get to the point.
I think I forgot what it was now.
That is not encouraging.
Now, hold on a sec. I think I've got it.
Like a gopher. Gophers have a purpose. I mean, gophers are pretty cute, you know?
Gophers are real cute, with their little hands and all. They might be vermin, but they're pretty adorable.
So you are suggesting what? That I am cute vermin?
Perfect.
Oh, no, nothing like that. I was just trying to lighten the mood.
By making me want to pull my own hair out?
Yep.
Oh, wait, that wasn't it. The thing about gophers is, gophers have a purpose. Driving people crazy, that's what. Used to wreak havoc on the farmland back in Missouri.
Absolutely ridiculous.
probably the
That
top
is
one.
not their purpose.
Isn't
It's an
actually, yes.
ill-informed anthropocentric philosophy defined and subscribed to entirely by said anthropocentrists.
I didn't know bugs could do that.
Anthropocentrists, not arthropods. Humans. Homo sapiens. I am saying that you have created a purpose for the gopher that the gopher is entirely unaware of.
So, who made your purpose, Dr. Drain?
What? Well, I did, I suppose.
So if you made it, you can change it, right?
But how could I change my purpose? I have always been a scientist. So that's what I am.
Labeling yourself.
All right, well,
Labeling.
let's take that scientific approach and try to figure out who the man behind the scientist is.
Very well. If we look at the behavior of our
Start.
subject, myself, we can infer a few things.
Alright.
If we examine my behavior, one can draw a comparison to a threatened higher-thinking mammal. I spend much time in ensuring personal safety and security.
What about your more peaceful moments? What do they look like?
I believe these feelings are only medically induced through my special plasma. However, Dr. Drain appears to be at rest when he is full and satisfied.
And your synthetic blood doesn't do that for you.
I am forced to admit that at present, it does not.
Dr. Drain, what do you think of drinking something a little more fresh and human?
I will not. I do not have to. That depraved vampire, Lord Lyridus, is the source of all that is base and vulgar about my person.
Blaming him.
Doc,
We're
you're blaming
blaming.
Lord Luridus for something common to all vampires, including yourself. We need blood. That's just how it is. Ain't Lord Luridus's fault. Now, I know you ain't comfortable with that need, but you can't offload everything you ain't happy with onto Lord Luridus. That just makes him worse.
You have not been listening to me at all if you believe I have absolved myself of all vampiric frailty.
I didn't say that. I'm saying you're distancing yourself from your needs by saying they're Lord Luridus's needs.
Yeah.
Well, what if you indulge Lord Luridus once in a while? Maybe you could keep him from coming out.
Do you not understand what I have been working toward for the last 400 years?
Tweet easy, tweet
Will
easy.
finally be able to transcend this thing that I am. I shall be a parasite no more.
Yeah, and labeling yourself as a paradise. That's
Dr.
fucked up.
Drain, we really got to talk about some kind of middle path here. Back home, we tried the whole abstinence thing a few times, and it didn't go too well. We tried to stop drinking, and that just made people only do bad drinking.
Yeah.
We tried telling teenagers sex was evil, and that just made them want it even more while being ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
What if you just tried to do some of them things Lord Luridus does? Just don't do them the way he does.
I find the idea utterly repellent.
Yeah, but then you go and take that plasma, and Lord Luridus makes the decisions. We don't want that, right?
Fine. Fine. I'll drink some blood. But I warn you, Sam, the price of failure is most dear. If I should lose my humanity, all of humanity will lose.
Oh my god. Nosferatu thinking, if I recall correctly. Which I
We need to go
can
back
have.
to this thing I brought up before. You're a smart fella, Dr. Drain, but sometimes you're forgetting vampire commonality. We've all felt like the world was ending, or that we're awful monsters. But them feelings are our perceptions alone.
Yes, I'm aware. Perhaps I've been a little too human in my wobbles.
Wow.
However, you forget my training and history. I am not an average vampire. I was trained by the great Professor William Harvey. I have had 4 centuries to unlock the secrets of animal biology. I have a duty to humanity and to my own legacy. A duty I should not fail in. Otherwise, what was it all for?
Disqualifying the positives. I mean, oh, he's right. That's not. He's not blaming. Duty I should not fail in. Actually, it's a should statement. I gotta double check it.
Hold your horses there, amigo. You say you've got a duty to humanity? Well, that ain't scientific at all. It ain't just anthropocentric, it's Dr. Drain-centric. Nobody said you had to do anything. Remember when we first started talking, I told you about them should statements? That's what you're doing, compadre. Just remember that them shoulds are yours.
Yes, I must be frustrating to you, Sam. I invoke the same delusions over and over again.
Hey, come on, Doc. You should be proud of yourself.
Hey, now I said should.
You know what the difference is between you and vampires who never improve themselves?
Smarter than they are. He's not concerned about being cool. He's here.
You're here. You've made a commitment to getting your head on straight. And you're getting there, my friend.
Yes, it's always about
Already
the
you're
progress.
making some big changes and investing in yourself. I can see it. So let's cut Dr. Drain a break. How about it, amigo? He doesn't need the weight of the world on him. There's only one thing he should do, and that's have a little understanding and empathy for himself. You get me?
Yes, I get you. Very well. I shall try to keep a clear head. And
There you go.
I will arrange to drink some real blood. There's plenty of it in the lab. I shall just liberate some of it.
Good man. We'll talk about how it's gone next month, all right?
Indeed. Until then, Sam. And thank you for your patience.
You're welcome.
I ain't got nothing but time, amigo. You can thank me by being patient with yourself.
All the same, you have my thanks. I shall see you in a few weeks then. Farewell.
Yeah, well, my good
Well
sir.
done indeed, Samuel. I think we are starting to see a new version of the good doctor in the making.
I hope you're right, boss. That fella's awful hard on himself.
That is normal, my friend. Being a vampire takes a lot of self-acceptance. He is only taking his first steps in discovering this.
Yeah, fair enough. It took other people forgiving me for me to forgive myself.
And now you pass on this gift of compassion to Dr. Drain. Now, Samuel, the evening is still young. See what the night has to offer downstairs.
That sounds good, Andy.
Rest in peace, my friend.
Rest in peace, Andy. I'm so glad this is not constantly breathing on me.
I always come out of the doc sessions feeling dumber than ever. I'll check in with Crimson. She's always got some bartender's wisdom to share. Howdy, Crimson. Looks like a nice crowd tonight.
They're always a nice crowd, cowboy. We like to maintain an asshole-free zone.
Best kinds of zones to be in.
I'll try not to be an asshole then.
I'm not worried about you, cowboy. You had a session tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, with the doctor fella. We had a hard talk about what being a vampire means. He's having a hard time coming to terms with it, even after 400 years.
I can understand that. I've stopped aging for the last 20 years and don't know how I feel about it yet. How do you think it went with him?
I think we're finally getting somewhere, actually. It's funny, a lot of vampires forget they're human, but he keeps forgetting he's a vampire. But just like we can't opt out of being human, we can't opt out of being vampires either.
Must have been a hard talk, cowboy. I sometimes wonder what I am. Staying the same age, drinking Andy's blood to live. Don't get me wrong, I like not being dead, but I still feel like I'm living on borrowed time.
Is this a good time to ask why you don't just join the dark side? It ain't that bad being dead.
I'm just not sure what I'd do with forever, you know? Eternity's a long time.
Yeah, I think a lot of us vampires can't answer that question either. I don't think there's one answer anyway.
There you go. So I guess I'll keep putting off the question.
But nobody's rushing you, Crimson.
You think
Enjoy
I'd
your
let
time.
anyone? But thanks for listening, cowboy. Now why don't you go mingle? There's a new fella in the kink room who's very interested to meet you.
I guess I'll go be social then. Thanks, Crimson. Wait a sec, that ain't...
Greetings, my child.
Keep your distance, amigo. I know our kind ain't had good history, but I ain't in the mood for an exorcism or nothing.
Ah, my child of the dark. If I were to exorcise you, nothing would be left when I was done. Only the good Lord is free of sin. We are all children of darkness.
Holy smokes, what Bible have you been reading?
I know my scripture, my son. However, I am by scripture and dark metal ordained, not by any church of man.
So, you're some kind of freelance priest?
Yes, I suppose I am. It is the only way I can give succor to those who need it most.
Matthew Mercer.
So I gotta ask, seeing as we're in a kink room, what kind of sucker are we talking about?
I follow in the path of the Lord. I share my body, and I share my blood.
Ain't this a little blasphemous for your kind?
To whom, my child? God is in everything, including you, sweet vampire. Can God blaspheme against himself? I merely wish to give comfort to those who live in darkness. And so, I choose to live in darkness with them.
Thank you, man.
Come, my son. I shall give succor to you.
Well, alright. Maybe if you stop calling it that.
I'm gonna give you all the sucker.
Thou shalt not want, my son. Are you comforted?
Yeah, I guess I am.
I know those of my faith have haunted your kind. Perhaps we fear our own sin, so we seek the sins of others. I seek only the Lord in everything, as do we all, whether we know it or not.
You ain't wrong, I suppose. Hey, a little awkward, but what's your name, fella?
I am Kieran. It means little dark one. The night always did call to me.
Well, Kieran, I'm Sam, and I appreciate the blood, but I'm gonna turn in. A little sleepy now.
Go with God, my child of the night.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Yes, man.
A fine evening to you, Samuel. Are you ready for tonight's session with Senora Deste?
Is La Senora.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're making some good progress.
That is wonderful. Remember, though, that the road to inner peace is not a straight line.
True enough. I like to say I didn't make my path. Nature did.
Samuel, you have the makings of a poet.
Oh, I meant it more literally. When I was walking in the woods, I just walked where the land led me.
But you see, this is a wonderful metaphor. If there is a valley between two mountains, that is the path nature takes us on. We often choose to climb the mountain instead when the easier path is made for us. Your experience guides your intuition more than you might expect, my friend.
Guess it's that peasant wisdom the Senora mentions.
Be careful with the labeling, my friend.
I didn't mean it in a bad way. I ain't ashamed of being a peasant. I'm just folks, as we like to say.
I can see why the Senora has become quite fond of you. Are you prepared for your session with her?
Yeah, I think with our progress, there might be some other distortions to focus on. Let me think.
So once you have control, I don't know if she deals with emotional reasoning most of the time. I think should is something that she does deal with. Feeling like she has to be a certain way. I think she always does feel always right in regards to what she's feeling. Granted, she's doing better now. So maybe that's not the case. Mind reasoning. Personalizations, defining her actions, and seeing how it affects everybody else. Maybe Nosferatu thinking? I feel like they gave me a hint with the idea of labeling, though. Maybe. Just maybe. This would be it. Alright. Give me a quick second.
All right, locked and loaded.
Jody, were you trying to take my place here? Were you trying to stream at me? Were you trying to stream? Alright, locked and loaded.
The people of your country have so many colorful phrases having to do with firearms. I do not understand the obsession.
I can't explain it neither.
I shall leave you alone with the Senora, Samuel.
Alright, let's go.
Howdy, Senora. Good to see you tonight.
You are looking forward to seeing me?
Well, sure I was. You're an interesting person, Senora. It's a privilege to get to know you.
I suppose you have learned something of manners yourself.
Woo.
I thought a lot about the things we talked about last time, you know.
Oh, yeah? What about exactly?
About how foolish I was for wasting my time for so long fighting against reality.
Calling yourself a fool? Because she's not mind reading. She's not trying to define that somebody else is feeling her a certain way. Personalization, which is experiences. So it might be personalization. Nope.
A woman so learned and accomplished was probably never ineffective or foolish, don't you think, Samuel?
Okay, yeah, so it was labeling.
About how foolish I was for
She's calling
wasting my
herself
time
foolish.
for so long fighting against reality.
Senora, what's calling yourself foolish doing for you? You're a principled lady. That ain't foolishness.
Yeah.
What else do you call a woman who forever fights with reality?
If I want to be literal, I'd call her a fighter. It's a better label than fool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Agreed.
perhaps it is my despair speaking.
Maybe.
Would that I had listened to the simpletons in my life earlier.
You're calling them simpletons, so labeling still.
You can start by not calling them simpletons.
I meant it as a compliment. I wish I could be a simpleton.
I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that.
I mean what I say. Look at me, with my grand plans, my status, my dynasty, and all the pain that they have brought me. Who is the true fool, me or the simpleton?
Well, what if we're not fools or simpletons? What if we're just people being people?
E.
There's a lot of room between worms and gods, Senora.
Again, you prove your pastoral wisdom.
Well, I'm glad you've been doing some
Simpletonness.
thinking. You were putting so much pressure on yourself to be the one keeping your family going. I can tell how much it was weighing on you.
I spent so long trying to fix them, trying to transform them into something that they were not. May I talk to you about my ex-husband, Sam?
Yep. Now we're getting to the
Of
juicy.
course you can. I know he
Pobrecito.
gave you a lot of grief.
He hurt me deeply, in so very many ways. He was the start of all my delusions because I thought I could fix him. I thought Frankie was the way he was because I was not an ideal wife. That perhaps he would have been faithful if I had been as beautiful or fertile as a Medici.
In a sense, you're feeling like you have control over it, but then you're leading your mind. And reading feels like it could be correct. Labeling, no. Personalization based off of your experiences. I feel like it would fit in this regard solely because it's not saying that because she is her way, then it affected the rest of. That could also be control fallacy. Control? No.
Poor Signora d'Este. Her husband's failings had little to do with her.
No, okay, yeah, there you go.
I thought
All right,
Frankie
makes
was
sense.
the way he was because I was not an ideal
This is
wife.
the important
That
part. I was
perhaps
not
he
an
would
ideal
have been
wife.
faithful.
But you know
Personalizing
that
it.
who your husband was didn't have nothing to do with you, right? Everyone comes into a relationship with their own problems.
Right. Personalization.
Yes, I believe I understand that now.
Oh my god.
But if I had been more like that Borgia woman, he would have been more content.
You don't know that.
That's not something you can know, Senora. You could never be in Frankie's mind.
Distortion within the distortion. Alright. And
Oh, thank goodness. My thoughts would be so full of vaginas there would be no room for anything else.
yeah.
But here's the thing,
Ew.
Senora. Your husband's issues didn't have anything to do with you. He was gonna bring him into the relationship regardless.
You are right. Who he was not my fault.
Yeah.
I know I have been arguing with reality, as you have said, but the idea of a fruitful marriage, sanctified by God, this was the only reality I had. But that reality did not match with mine. God could not have blessed both our marriage and riddled Frankie's penis with French diseases.
French diseases?
We used to call syphilis the malfrance.
My friends say.
Diseases don't belong to any nationality. You sound like a certain politician from back home.
Do not insult me. Have I not suffered enough with my husband's disgusting malady? It was a painful lie to live. I could only conclude from my sorrow that God was testing me. Endlessly.
Personalization? No. Yeah.
The Signora
control.
was seeking a justification for her feelings, and I believe she found one.
It was a...
Control?
I
Yeah.
want to challenge you on something
Okay.
there. That sounds like a kind of hopeless statement. Like you're doomed to keep being tested on God's terms.
Perhaps it was hopeless. As you said, Isabella d'Este and Francesco Gonzaga could not change their natures.
That's true, but here's the thing. Does that mean you were doomed? Or were you just doomed on God's terms? I think this just needs a little reframing. I know you were dealt a rough hand, but it doesn't necessarily mean you were being tested. Sometimes we just gotta make do with the hand we got. What I'm suggesting is that then and now, a radical acceptance approach could have helped you.
What do you mean?
Could have been polyamorous. He could have been polyamorous. Had a secret arrangement. He could have been a nun. I know polyamorous wouldn't really help in this case. He could have had a secret arrangement. There is that possibility, but I don't know if she would. No, maybe. If she wanted to find somebody else to be with.
You could have had some sort of secret arrangement. That was pretty common back then, right?
Oh, we did have a secret arrangement. The arrangement was that he kept secrets from me and I pretended not to know about them.
Had you ever considered talking about it?
I could not. You do not know what it was like back then. A woman, even one such as I, was always subject to her husband. I did not have a say in his affairs. I had to play the part of the good wife and mother. You must understand, I only earned my significant power by playing the societal game.
But he knew you were aware of his indiscretions, didn't he?
It was hard to deny when he approached me with that rotten thing between his legs.
So why not bring the issue out in the open?
He would have become angry, I am sure. Perhaps he would have beaten me and taken away the privileges I had worked so hard to earn.
You know that for a fact? You couldn't read his mind or tell the future, only make guesses. If he knew that you knew about all of it, even accepted it, maybe you could have had a real conversation about the ways you could both live more honestly.
I mean, granted, of course, it is very dangerous to tell, but yeah, you never know what exactly the other person
Oh,
is.
Sam, you are so naive. You are very sweet, but men are dogs. They understand only food and sex, and they do not care about the providence of either.
Yeah, imagine if she met, was it Dr. Drain's alter ego, Ludius? You're mind reading because you're assuming that how men are. No, she's letting her own experiences define everything else that happens. No. No,
This
personally,
statement
they
might be
show it.
considered
Oh
true if
my
the signal
god.
we're speaking of
Why is it
werewolves.
always clear?
They are technically all dogs.
Oh, Sam, you are so naive.
Oh, no, actually,
You
men
are
are
very
dogs.
sweet,
Labeling.
but men are dogs.
I know we fellas don't have the best track record
Yeah.
in human history, Senora, but if you label us as dogs, you're giving up on us. We've got our occasional good qualities. Maybe we'll act like dogs, whining and snapping when we get scared, but challenging us is important.
Oh, it is exhausting, Sam.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Point is, Frankie was no fool, right? He could be reasoned with.
Well, he was wise enough to let me control Mantua. And he had his clever moments.
See, mind reading was a good way to read a lot of stupid in his head. And it wasn't all dumb.
Perhaps it is pointless to tread over the past again and again. What has happened has happened. It has been nearly 5 centuries. I should not let the past haunt me so.
Oh, I mean,
It's a hard thing, Senora. But no matter how old we get, the stuff that happened to us when we were alive is the stuff that makes us who we are. To think you should get over it ain't being fair to yourself, and it's a challenge you created. Nobody expects you to get over your past. Heck, anyone who would
Except
have thought that's long dead now.
There is truth in what you speak. My father and mother, my husband, the Pope, even the Holy Roman Emperor, they are all very long gone. If I am true, Sam, I am still very angry about all the lies I was told. I may be harboring some resentment.
You don't say.
You will
it's good to tell.
understand when I tell you of Frankie's greatest cruelty. I will tell you that the man, for all his fighting spirit, had very weak sperm, for he could not sprout a male seed in my womb.
this is blaming because you're basically saying that it was his fault that things couldn't happen, which was not something that.
My first
Determined.
child was a girl. I could not have been more embarrassed, or so I thought, until I had my second child, who was also a girl. I will tell you, Sam, I was a young woman in mourning. I did not emerge from my chambers for weeks. The next time, finally, I had a boy. My beautiful Federico. He was such a charming child. He would entertain me so with his clownish behavior. May I show you a picture, Sam?
Well, sure, let's take a look.
Look at him. Isn't he beautiful? He could have been a movie star or a model today, don't you think? Admit it, he is the most handsome boy who ever walked this cursed earth.
Well,
Why am I asking you? What do you know of beauty? Anyway, I gave all of myself to him, all my guidance, all my wisdom, and all of my love. Everyone said, "You are doting on him. Give him some air." How dare they tell me my business? I am Isabella d'Este. I know what is right.
Oh, he's right. Oh, see.
It did not matter in the end. Frankie, in his supreme foolishness, managed to get himself captured by the French. He ransomed himself out of prison with something more precious than all the gold in Venezia, more valuable than the Pope's seat. He sold my son, my beautiful Federico.
Dang, that must have been devastating, Senora. I can't imagine how painful that must have been.
No, you cannot. For you will never be a mother to a son so beautiful, so intelligent, and so pure. But that was not the end of my pain. It was not enough to take my son away. Not content to merely break me, the French, as always, needed to corrupt.
Yeah, this one would be considered not labeling because I already have labeling. What was it again? Trying to remember. Mind reading overgeneralizing. There you go. Be overgeneralizing because you're saying it's the French, all the French.
They sent my sweet Federico to a den of filth, a place where chastity went to die, straight to the crossroads of Sodom and Gomorrah. They sent him to the Vatican.
The Vatican? Seems like that'd be a pretty boring place for a boy to spend time.
This was Rodrigo Borgia's Vatican. It was a city of prostitutes and perverts, and he was their mayor. My poor Federico. He was a boy of a certain age. I could not have prepared him for the temptations he encountered. When he finally returned to me, he was no longer Isabella d'Este's child. He was the child of Francesco Gonzaga, an experienced whoremonger in his own right.
Labeling. Right? Labeling him as a dad. Labeling him as an experienced whoremonger. And that doesn't define who he is.
Hold on a sec. No longer your child? You can't think that's true. You raised that boy, and there's no way he could forget you. Maybe he got up to shenanigans out there in the Vatican, but you're only hurting yourself by erasing your influence on him. Now be honest. Did he lose everything you taught him?
No. He still had an appreciation of art, for which he had some taste. And he had some political acumen, I suppose.
I'm not saying you should forget what happened to your son. That would be pretty unrealistic. But give yourself some credit for the influence you had, huh?
You are kind, Sam. Thank you. But it is hard to forget the child who returned to me. I am a man now, mother, he would say. I do not have to listen to you. And indeed, he did not. Which is why he died of syphilis, just like his depraved father. He did not even have the courtesy to wait until I was dead. Now do you understand why I prefer the illusion of truth and beauty I try to bring to art? My mother told me when my marriage was young, Isabella, you must pretend that all is as it should be. The truth is dark, but you must maintain your own.
I hate to say it, Senora, but I think your mama was spouting a few should statements of her own. Keeping up that illusion must have been draining.
That is why I tried to create my own illusions. If I depicted love and chastity in their ideal form, I could make that illusion come true.
Control fallacy, because it's not something that you could actually control.
Well, Senora, if anyone were strong enough to change the world's morality, it might be you. But I think you know the truth is that you don't have that kind of control. No one does.
No.
Then why am I here, Sam? Why are any of us here? Are we here to eat, sleep, fornicate, and die?
Yeah, you would have really had a conversation with.
I
the
know a
kid
few
who-
folk who might say that's why we're here.
Yep.
It's one of them existential questions, ain't it? Here's my take, Senora. I think you're here to be you.
Yeah.
I certainly hope you have something more intelligent to contribute than that.
I
Never.
don't really. Here's the thing, Senora. None of us is going to change the world overnight, or even in a millennium of nights. But our being here, being ourselves, swings the pendulum in a whole bunch of unknowable ways.
That is a dark interpretation of reality. Are we truly so powerless?
That would be control again.
What I'm saying, Senora, is not that we're powerless. I'm just saying we ain't going to change the world on our own.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to buy what we're selling, but some people are going to get it. People are still out there talking about the art you brought to the world. Maybe fellas like me don't know who you are, and I bet that nasty pope from your time wasn't your biggest fan. But you can't help but be an influence on people.
Yeah.
Just not all people. Ain't that so?
I do not know if that is enough for me, Sam.
Well, here's what I think we should do, Senora. All them efforts of yours are always facing outward. How about we spend some time on you?
What do you mean?
I mean, let's work on the things Isabella D'Este likes. Forget about the rest of the world. What are you putting in your art that's for you and not for anyone else? Is it a little embarrassing?
Hush. If you must know, it is centaurs. I like centaurs.
Hey, I
like
ain't gonna
horses.
judge. Sometimes I like horses better than people too.
Yes, well, they are pleasing to look at.
Now, how about this then? Why don't you pick up a brush and paint yourself up a centaur?
I have not attempted to paint for centuries.
This is just for you, Senora. No expectations. How's that sound?
I cannot believe I revealed this thing to you.
I'm glad you did. I'm a lucky fella. I get to know an Isabella D'Este no one else knows.
Yeah.
And no one else will know, or I will make you suffer. Capiche?
My guys, he's part of the mafia.
You got a deal, Senora. I'm here to be supportive, that's all. I hope that when you come back next month, we'll be having a nice conversation about you finding your muse.
Yes, perhaps. Very well, Sam. I do not understand your ways, but I cannot deny you have a certain untamed wisdom.
E.
I shall attempt to paint a centaur. This is not what I expected from therapy, but I shall do as you suggest.
Yo.
I shall see you in 4 weeks then. Arrivederci, Sam.
Arrivederci.
Oh yeah, see you soon, Senora. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Arrivederci.
Goodbye.
Well, well, Samuel, you never cease to impress. Centaurs.
I don't think you're supposed to know about that, boss.
I am 3,000 years old, my friend. Horse people are somewhere at the very tip of my kinky iceberg. It is already forgotten.
Well, the Senora's pretty embarrassed about it, so I'd appreciate it if you kept it to yourself.
Senora D'Este is wise to put her faith in you, Samuel. I will gently remind you that relationships between therapists and clients are highly discouraged.
Oh, come on, Andy. It ain't like that. Senora D'Este is just... You're messing with me.
Always.
Of course I am. Unless...
All right, you know what? I'm going downstairs. I could use a drink.
Well earned, Samuel. Please, rest in peace.
Poor Senora. That lady's holding on to a lot of anger. Reminds me of myself as a young vampire. Pretty hot in here tonight. I think I'll get some air. Maybe I can get to know Bert a little better. Hey, Bert. How's the crowd tonight? Same old, huh? So,
Talk about a city.
What do you think of Leipzig, Bert? Real fascinating architecture here. Hey, not everyone's into architecture, I get it. So what do you do for fun here?
Perfect.
More of a homebody, I guess. Yeah, I'm a little introverted too. Spent 90 years walking in the woods, you know. Yeah, there's nothing I like better in nature. The trees, the plants, the animals. The cities just seem so dead at night. I can tell I'm interrupting. Well, nice talking to you anyway, Bert. I'm gonna head inside.
Yeah.
Have fun, mate.
Hey, Crimson, how's the crowd?
Hey, cowboy. Bit busy tonight, but how'd your session go?
No, I think this lady's starting to realize what she can't control, which is a lot. She's still mad as hell about it, but I think we're getting closer to acceptance.
I know how she feels, cowboy. I feel like I wasted years of my life in DC trying to make the world a better place. But it sounds like you are making progress to me. She's got time to make her peace. That's what Andy says about you vampires.
Yeah, that's true. We can take 40 years or 400, but that's up to us.
E.
In the meantime, I'll whip something up for a hot summer night.
What's this now?
Blood margarita.
Hey,
Figured a
yo.
hot-blooded desperado like you could use something cold.
Oh, I keep saying yo. Yeah.
Oh, mighty kind of you, Crimson. I'll let you get back to work and take this up to my coffin for a quiet night.
Night, Sam.
Now let's see, what'll help me reflect on the night? I think there's something Omar Khayyam once wrote that I can look up. Or I could watch Buster Keaton almost get himself killed a bunch.
Yeah, that'll be next time. If you're trying to think about things, so reading poetry would work.
One of my transcendentalist friends told me about this one. I ain't too good with poetry, but this piece always stuck with me. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all thy tears wash a word out of it. Funny how people in far-off places and times always had some similar perspectives. Omar's right. You can't change the past. Life moves forward. I think that's enough for one night. Better get me some shut-eye. Got the feeling my work's gonna get harder before it gets easier.
Because I am talking to... What's his name? What's his name? The actor. The dramatic person.
My dear Samuel, greetings. How are you feeling tonight?
Honestly, I'm feeling a little like a horse who's about to be ridden by a big old fella.
I am not certain I comprehend your meaning. Have you met a special someone, my friend?
What? No, it ain't that. I mean, I'm feeling a little on edge. Edmund's coming in.
Edmund. That's the name.
Aha, our actor friend. What about him has you nervous, Sam?
He's just a lot to deal with. I find myself a little drained after our sessions.
Ah, yes. Challenging the reality distortion fields of those with narcissistic tendencies is taxing.
I know, but if I'm here doing this therapist thing, I should help him one way or another.
Ah, remember your own distortions. You are under no obligation to help Edmund. If helping him drains you, remember that you do not have to aid him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I still want to try, though. I want to see if I can help him.
I shall not stand in your
Yes,
way
dear.
then. Have you an idea of what distortions he might be exhibiting tonight?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Oh, because you have an ego, personalization, it always makes sense. Him feeling like he's always so right. It's a guarantee. He would have a habit of blaming other people. Never really taking responsibility. And I feel like mind reading might be one of them because he's telling how. Oh, I get to more actually. I think he uses his emotion to dictate a lot of the things that he wants to say, so I'll stick with emotional reasoning. Doesn't he overgeneralizes in the sense that he talks about actors and how they should be, but he doesn't really use it that much. I would be stuck between should statements and mind reading, and I feel mind reading might be a lot better. Because he would say that, the audience or the crowd absolutely love me and love how I perform. It's like, well, how do you know that? I didn't know that shit.
I think that should cover it.
Yeah. Use it. There you go.
I wish you peace and patience, Samuel. Good luck tonight.
Mainly patience.
Thanks, Andy.
Woo. Let's go.
Edmund, amigo, how's it hanging?
To the left and most proudly, my dear boy. Indeed, tonight I sit before you victorious. Thy gentle prodding hath guided me back to the womb of creation.
Do I want you to spell that out for me?
The stage, good sir, the stage. For if all the world's a stage, then the stage is where humanity is born.
Yeah, I guess that must be true. So what are you saying? You nabbed some kind of juicy role?
Not just any role. Nay, I have been given the opportunity to once again subvert the audience's expectations. Though it was thy tender words that cleared the mists of doubt from my mind and reminded me that I belong to the stage, not to the audience.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Eddie. Tell me all about it. What's been going on?
Do you remember the advice you gave me when last we met?
I told you to film yourself doing some acting, right? How'd that go?
I did as you suggested. I set up a camera, and for no one but myself, I became the Dane. Hamlet, my dear boy, Hamlet. I watched the great Edmund Kean inhabit the bard's greatest role once again, and in him I saw humanity pure, naked, and true. It was akin to pornography, albeit far more revealing. That Edmund Kean, I told myself, he and only he could produce something so beautiful.
Okay. Of course, it's not blaming. He loves everything, but it's not emotional reasoning. He's not mind reading because he's not interpreting other people's words. So, the fact that he feels always right could actually work, but I think it's personalization. Because he's saying that he affects the world. That he has that power. He has that control to affect the world.
Wait just a minute there, Eddie. You're an incredible actor. Everyone agrees on that. But it's a big world out there, and everyone's got their own experiences. We all got capacity to do incredible things. It's a combination of luck, perseverance, and being in the right place at the right time. You ain't a great actor because you're Edmund Kean. You're a great actor because of the things that made you Edmund Kean.
You toy with the fates and flirt with pedantry, my dear boy. Oh, it is oft said that an infinite number of monkeys with an infinite number of typewriters and infinite time could produce all the works of Shakespeare, but such a thing is infinitely unlikely. If you will permit me to continue, to watch myself act without an audience was simply rapturous. I am not ashamed to admit that I did weep. I wept for the stage, that I deprived it of my greatness on account of my own misplaced dread. I have been a cream-faced loon, a devout coward, and most religious in it. Why should Edmund Kean fear any audience? You spoke truly. Edmund Kean bared his chest to all the slings and arrows of an unappreciative audience, and was somehow surprised when they hit their mark. The Edmund Kean that you see before you is armored in love of the craft that no arrow may penetrate, and so casts aside the cloak of cowardice. To think, I feared mortal directors. I feared the audition, and the criticism that would come afterward. I feared the cast list, bereft of Edmund Kean. But to you I give thanks, for can a mortal director know my brilliance? Nay. They're all clay-brained guts and mouldy rogues.
Labeling
Their
again.
disrespect for the craft makes fools of them.
They're calling them all clay-brained guts and moldy rogues.
I know in my damned soul that the stage is worse off without Edmund Kean, and nothing any mortal director can say will disabuse me of this. Ergo, I did ask myself, Edmund, what is an audition? Is it a trial to overcome? Is a director a god dispensing holy judgment? And I replied, Edmund, do not ask such foolish questions, the answers to which thou knowest well. An audition, my dear boy, is not an opportunity, but an invitation to display the craft before another. So I told myself, why not act, dear boy? And so I did.
So you did an audition, all right, that's great. Did you have fun with it?
You speak so simply, my friend. Fun does not adequately describe the feeling one has when the muse takes over. It is transcendence, an affirmation of purpose, to condense humanity within oneself, if only for a moment. It is an orgasmic experience.
That sounds
Feel so.
intense, Eddie. Having an orgasm in front of someone else is pretty brave.
Oh, but it is freeing. A true actor hides nothing. The director, she told me she had never witnessed such a thing in all her years, few as they were.
Like, I just do not want you.
I am certain that she thought to herself, is this Dionysus reborn? Why have the fates graced mine eyes with such depth of the human spirit?
I don't know if that's exactly how she felt. Maybe like this guy is too much.
So,
Too much.
how do you know she was thinking that, Eddie? A director's usually just thinking about how they can put on a good show, right?
Oh, thou sweet babe, how little thou knowest. The poor lady has only seen a parade of mortals cross her door. How could she be prepared for Edmund Kean?
Well, maybe she couldn't be. I'm just saying you're going to be a lot more content if you're dealing with truths. If you go into this assuming she thinks you're a god reborn, how are you going to work together? You both got your jobs. Hers is putting on the show, and yours is lighting up the stage. Reading her mind ain't letting her speak it.
You must ever play the mirth-destroying ninny, mustn't you? Yes, I could not read her mind, I admit it. Art thou satisfied?
It ain't about my satisfaction, Eddie. I'm just making sure you're going into this thing with a clear head.
If you must, but allow me to continue. This time, my friend, I did not have to wait for a cast list at all. You are looking at a leading man once more.
Did he see that?
Hey, congratulations, Eddie. That's great. See, I knew you'd get your mojo back if you remembered what made you love the stage in the first place.
For this, I am eternally grateful, and indeed, I do have an eternity to be grateful. I can already hear the calls resounding through the theater. Keen, 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 give us Keen!
You may want to pick a different name.
Nonsense! They will say Edmund Kean has returned, and be none the wiser as to the accuracy of their statement.
So what's the big role, Eddie?
We get to the meat of it, unto the very sinew at last. They say that every story is a circle, that we return whence we came. So it is with me. 'Twas tragedy that made me, tragedy that formed me, tragedy that raised me to glory, and tragedy that shall do so once more.
It will be SpongeBob in a live adaptation.
I shall play the part of Pierrot.
Okay.
Pierrot, the clown who cried. Pierrot, the mask of the tragedy that is life.
I'm familiar.
I believe you are, though you know a far inferior version. The one made famous by that ludicrous creature, Grimaldi.
Grimaldi who?
Splud, my dear boy. Do you know nothing of late 18th century English theatre?
They must have skipped that subject in frontier school.
Grimaldi was the other influential actor in London. But whereas I drew out the soul and laid it bare on stage, Grimaldi, in comparison, was a clown, a jester, a funny man.
Dude, the fact I should have gone labeling, but not should have. Going labeling would have probably worked, but I did not expect him to label so much.
Grimaldi was an artist,
My God.
like myself. But where my canvas was the soul, his was the latrine. When I strode upon the stage, my audience saw all the acts of life play out, in all their woe and joy. Oh, but Joey Grimaldi, the great clown himself, could create bottom noises with his armpit. Yet whose name was on the lips of the adoring public? Not Kean's, no. Not the bard's emissary. Give us the farting clown, they cried. Give us Grimaldi. So you see, my dear boy, for me to play the tragic clown Pierrot, this is my opportunity to take what Grimaldi stole from me.
What did he steal?
He stole my audience.
Personalization.
Eddie, from what you've told me, I don't think you and this Grimaldi fella had the same audience. I don't think anyone showing up for a farting clown show and getting Edmund Kean is going to be too happy, and it'd have nothing to do with you.
But if Grimaldi had not peddled his base filth, my audience would not have waned when it did. They would have been mine.
Not blaming him.
Eddie, I think you're blaming Grimaldi for something that wasn't in his control. Was Grimaldi really trying to steal your audience? Or was he just selling something they were buying?
Of course he was jealous. Why would he not be? If I were a middling actor and saw a young genius rising in the ranks of the Thespian Order, I would be much afeard of him.
Mind reading.
Yeah, that's your thinking, Eddie, not Grimaldi's. You can't know what he was thinking.
Yep.
Then you are a fool indeed, dear boy. For Grimaldi was the middling actor and I the young
Belittling
genius. It is my insight into character that allows me to see his mind.
Grimaldi wasn't a character, though, Eddie. He was a person. People are real complicated.
He was a thief
Complicated.
and a fool. If not for his cheap entertainment, I would have had the whole of London hanging on my every word.
And if the sun didn't shine, we could go out during the day. Come on, Eddie, the world ain't waiting on you. Grimaldi had his audience and you had yours. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Perhaps, though I weep bitter tears to think the people so base. And I weep for myself, my dear boy. The riches and fame he received should have been mine, and would have been, had the fates not cursed me with his birth.
Personalization. Yeah.
The fates cursed you with Grimaldi's birth? I don't think baby Grimaldi was thinking too much about you, my friend.
Well, no, he wasn't. He was 11 years my senior.
So maybe he was cursed with your birth then.
You delight in making me play the part of the fool, don't you?
Yes. I mean,
The point I'm trying to make is that making things about Grimaldi versus
You
Keene
fool.
ain't doing you any favors.
There is some truth in your words. Why should I lower myself to his level? I am no flatulent jester. I am Edmund Keene. And mark my words, my boy. I shall cast Joseph Grimaldi from the Thespian Order. When I play Piero the Clown, Wikipedia shall forget all about that fool.
This is a control fallacy, I believe, because he's saying that he has a power to make him be forgotten. That's basically what he's implying.
You see, my dear boy, I have already calculated my
Emotional
triumphant
reasoning
return
is
to the
the only one
stage.
I haven't really been using.
Every move, every word, every expression shall be unassailable. You see, Edmund Keene is never wrong about matters of character.
Oh, he's right.
I'm glad to hear your confidence, Eddie, but I just want to give you a word or two of caution.
Oh, he's
Acting's
right.
all about
Yes, sir.
humanity, not just Eddie Keene, right? If you don't give yourself a little room to bend, your audience might not see themselves in you.
Ha! Let them dream their filthy little dreams. If my body is that which draws them in before I spring the theatrical trap, I care not.
I didn't mean that. I just meant that you're drawing some hard boundaries acting-wise. Giving yourself some middle ground ain't a bad thing.
I know you play your part, therapist, as I must play mine. I have heard your cautions. They need not be repeated. Indeed,
Repeat them
I
now.
doubt our meetings will be necessary any longer. I must confess to some strong misgivings about you, therapist. There are times when we speak that I feel exposed, diminutive, and weak, and I can only conclude from those feelings that you are trying to hurt me.
Main reading could work, but no, actually, he's talking about feeling exposed, diminutive, and weak. So he's letting his emotions dictate how he sees, or he's being seen. With emotional
I gotta
reasoning.
push you on that, Eddie. You said
Hey,
it
worked it.
yourself.
Woo.
You're jumping from a feeling to reality. I am here to challenge you, yeah. But your feeling exposed is part of the process. Doesn't mean I'm trying to hurt you.
But there is truth in emotion, my dear boy. Perhaps not the whole truth, but emotions are the seeds from which truth doth grow.
Let me be straight with you. I ain't trying to hurt you, Eddie. I'm just trying to make sure you're moving forward with a clear head.
Then perhaps that is where we speak alien languages. As an actor, I must be led by feeling and intuition.
You
I
must.
pity you,
Short
my dear
statement.
boy, that
Just
such
kidding.
is beyond your grasp.
I got a heart, Eddie. I just try to know when it's lying to me.
Regardless, opening night is a month from now. I doubt you shall see me again, for I shall not need your services.
Oh God.
The public
He's fucked.
thought they knew
I mean,
what a clown
he's
was.
screwed.
In a month's time, they will forget Grimaldi and Bozo, and only Keene's clown will remain. Therefore, why shall I need you?
He's not
Will
gonna
I
be
have the
accepted.
public's love that I am due? What need will I have for a therapist?
I think he'll probably try to kill them all. Need me as emotional support, I suppose.
You might need me for emotional support going into your next big role.
Oh, come now. I have now reconnected with my muse. I have all the support I need from him.
I don't think you've told me about them yet. Who's your muse, Eddie?
Why, it is I, of course.
Oh, God.
I should have guessed.
Do you have any final words of wisdom for me then, dear boy? Theatre has lost its popularity because of my absence. When the public takes notice of Edmund Keane once again, how might I prepare myself?
Yeah, I mean, personalization.
I just want to remind you, Eddie, that even if you give the greatest performance of all time, people ain't waiting for you.
Yeah.
Think about how you felt when you were acting for yourself and not for the audience. Your most important audience member is you, compadre.
Yeah.
Ever the nemesis of mirth art thou, Sam Walls. But there is a little wisdom in what you speak. I shall remember Edmund Keane.
Yes, Edmund
I suppose then
Remember
that this is
Edmund
goodbye,
Keane.
dear
Or
boy.
Edmund Keane. Is Edmund Keane.
You sure you don't want me to keep your session slot open for next month?
There is no need. As you are so eager to help others, please do so, and worry not for Edmund Keane.
I keep it open anyways.
Tell you what, I'll keep it open just this once. I'll take the night off if you don't show up. Sound good?
Then I beg you enjoy a night of simple peace. You shall not see me. I give you thanks. And please, send me a V-mail. I shall arrange theatre tickets for you if you are ever in London.
I'll do that, Eddie. You take care of yourself, you hear?
I shall be Edmund Keane's greatest advocate. Farewell, therapist. May fortune favor you as it has me.
Adios, Eddie.
Well, Samuel, it seems you are down one client.
Yeah, I guess so. If he thinks he doesn't need me, I guess I'm doing something right.
You are unsure.
I don't know, Andy. I think that fella's got some more work to do, but he ain't ready to do it yet.
I believe you are correct, Samuel. I did warn you that this was likely to happen with our dear Edmund Keane.
Yeah.
Do not consider it a failure of yours. Remember that we are all on our own journeys, and some of us need a little extra time to reach the next stage of that journey.
Yeah.
Or in my case, a few thousand years. We cannot control the mind of any other.
Yeah, I
have
suppose
mine.
that's the way it's gotta be.
Go downstairs and have a drink to fate's whimsical turns. It is that which we cannot control that makes the world so rich and interesting.
Yo.
All right, Andy, that sounds good right about now.
Go then, my friend. The night awaits. Rest in peace.
Hey, yo. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we'll get rid of that word.
Well, that was a weird one.
Expression?
I guess it always is with Edmund. Half the time, I can't make heads or tails of what that feller's saying. I'll go check in with Crimson and see if she's got any of her wisdom to share.
Yeah, your
How we doing tonight, Crimson?
Your wisdom.
The drinks are flowing and the blood's pumping. Can't ask for more than that. How are you, Sam?
Hell yeah.
Well, I had my first client graduate. They quit therapy today.
Congratulations, cowboy. Helped a vampire see the light, huh? How do you feel about it?
No. I would say pretty good, but I mean, if I were to be honest, poorly.
I swear this fella's just doubling down on the stuff that's making him unbalanced.
That's not
He
happening.
thinks he's gonna make the whole world admire him. I'm afraid he ain't nearly born enough for mass appeal.
Sorry to hear it, Sam. I'm sure he must have gotten something out of talking to you, though.
Well, even if not everyone loves what he's doing, at least he's doing what he loves.
That's the most important thing.
Hey, I'd call that a win, cowboy. Not everyone gets to do what they love.
Sounds like you got some feelings about that.
All right, I'm gonna let you in on a big, dark secret. Maybe even darker than the fact that I drink blood.
I'll
Drink
hold it in
blood?
high honor,
Oh
Crimson.
my.
I liked being a lawyer.
Oh, you're right. That is dark.
Oh, shut up. I was good, Sam. I fought the good fight, and I knew case law like the back of my hand.
Good.
The law just moved too slowly for me in the end, and getting cancer made it seem meaningless. Now, I love this place, and I love Andy, but I know I wasn't born to bartend.
Couldn't you practice law in Germany?
You try learning German and tell me how it goes, Desperado.
Oh, come on. It ain't that hard. I've picked up some German already. Ich spreche Deutsch good.
Ich speak Deutsch good.
Hold me, Maxie. The cowboy is being once again too cute. I believe I shall burst.
Cowboy, komm with us and we will teach you how to speak sehr good Deutsch.
I think I hear my dinner calling. I'll talk to you later, Crimson.
Be gentle with him, you two.
Now we will teach you the German that is most important for you to know.
It is important to ask politely when you wish to drink from someone's neck. Tell them, your neck is beautiful. May I drink from it?
Ihr Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken?
Ihr Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken? Ihr Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken? Ja.
Now ask Reinhard if he will let you drink from his neck.
It is very important to get the declensions correct in German.
Okay. Dein Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken? Ihr Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken? Your neck is wunderschön. Darf ich drink? Ihr Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken? I'd probably say the bottom one.
Ihr Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken?
Sehr gut, mein Sanna-Schnittchen. Ja, wunderbar. Du kannst gerne von meinem Haus trinken.
Sehr gut, mein Schnittchen, I guess? Ja, wunderbar. Du kannst gerne von meinem Haus trinken. Blah.
Oh, Maxi. Now I'm feeling very disoriented and euphoric. Oh, so I've done many club drugs.
I will take you home, Knutkugel. Now what do you say, cowboy?
Danke.
Oh, Dankeschön.
Dankeschön, sexy. We must practice together so. I must take this hot little man home now. Tschüss, tschüss.
Oh, yeah, see you later, you two. Well, it's about time for some shut-eye anyway.
I learned a little bit of German, and I already forgot. Dang.
Good evening, Samuel.
Okay, thank you
I
for the
believe you are
opportunity
seeing
to
your elder
watch TV.
vampire tonight.
That's right. I hope she's making some progress. Well, the world sure did a number on that lady.
I am hopeful. One does not live so long without being very resilient. I have had a number of near final death incidents myself, and I had been trained to fight since childhood.
That's true. She's clearly got a few tricks up her sleeve. I don't even know how she plays them 3D video games.
Based on her last session, you probably have some idea of her current concerns. Would you like to prepare your distortions?
Oh god, I just played it yesterday and I can't remember.
Yeah, I guess I'd better do that. Now, let's see.
He has overgeneralization. I know personalization because it's going to be based off everything that she's experienced. Labeling, I think she does sometimes, but not so much. I know she does let her emotions get to her, so I believe that's also one of them. She does have a habit of blaming other people, from what I remember. As far as the thinking, disqualifying the positives. And I think because she's trying to do things for herself, she might be hard on herself, so maybe disqualifying the positives would work. I think always right would work. Should statements doesn't feel like that works. Mind reading might be the other thing. But so these four.
Alright, I think I got what I need.
Very good, Samuel. I shall leave you. I believe I hear the flapping of ancient wings.
Damn, how do you hear flapping of ancient wings? What the hell?
Greetings, my most favorite mouse.
Yeah,
Good to see you, matey. How's this month been for you?
Oh, it's been ever so tiring. My Glitch channel hit 100 million followers, and they are all very hungry for content.
What do you mean by content? Is it like making a TV show?
Yes.
Oh, no, silly mouse.
Yeah.
Do you know how we're hungry for blood all the time? Mortals are like that too, but for content.
For being content? Alright.
It means constantly putting up new things on the internet. If they don't get content, they get frightfully bored.
Oh my god, you are... The fuck is it? Mind reading.
I can see why that'd be exhausting.
It's alright, silly cowboy. It can be very nice. They're always very excited to see me. And they give me ever so much money. I don't know what to do with it all.
Well, sounds to me like you can afford to take a break, huh? Did you take that day off like you promised?
I did. I didn't like it very much.
I'm sorry to hear that, Maddie. What was bad about it?
It was very quiet. It was just me, alone, with no one to talk to but the voices in my head. Those voices are very unkind.
I might be right about
What do they
solving
say?
the positive.
They say, Maddie, you're being a very naughty vampire. You should respond to your zealots. You should be planning your content.
Nah, should woulda worked.
Yeah, I
shoulda,
gotta
woulda.
confess, I got almost no idea what you're talking about. I didn't get much past female.
I don't know what I'd do without the internet. I'd probably be a pile of ashes. Or maybe a desiccated, bloodless corpse.
This one would be a Nosferatu thinking, if I recall correctly.
I gotta ask, how'd you get so good at all this internet stuff anyway? I can't keep up with all this modern technology.
Well, back in the before times, I didn't need the internet very much. I used to live in the wilds where no one knew to look for me. If any silly mortals came to visit me, I would eat them. And if no one came to visit, I could go hunting for them on my own. But now there aren't any wilds. Now there are motorways and nasty machines. Now there are suburbs and shopping centers.
So what did you do when the wilds went away?
I moved into the city, but I never liked it very much. People were very upset at me for being able to come out only at night. They started to whisper that I was a witch. I know what mortals like to do to witches. Pop goes the eyeball.
Good. Her eyes out.
Oh, right, yeah. Funny. So, how'd you manage?
Well, I found out I could get mortals to do things for me. In exchange for a peek at my naughty bits, and for their miserable little insect lives, they would clean up after all my messes. Realized that mortals only ever wanted one of two things from me: to kill me, or to do sexual things with me. As long as they think they can have a chance of sexual things, I can control them.
Overgeneralization.
I think you're shooting fish in a real small barrel there, miss. You're judging mortals based on your experience, but there are about 8 billion of them out there.
Some people might just do it now.
There are mortals who hate killing and hate sex, or don't even care about either of those things. Some of them just want to watch TV and they're happy with that.
Those are even more disgusting, because they are cowards and liars. Most of my best friends over the last millennia have been insects. Do you know why, little mouse?
Oh, why don't you tell me?
Insects never lie. They kill, they eat, and they make babies. Sometimes they eat their babies. They don't pretend to be intelligent and chivalrous. They just are. They never surprise me. That's why I don't let mortals surprise me either. If they were honest, they would eat their babies too.
Well, that conversation took a kind of dark turn, but I think I get what you mean about not letting mortals surprise you. You're protecting yourself, and that's a sensible thing to do. That being said, you seem pretty convinced that danger is a sure thing.
That's right. If I let myself feel safe, that's when they'll come for me.
That's emotional reasoning. Personalization. It's personalization. Yep.
I know the vampire-phobic persecution Medi has faced, but our feelings of safety, or lack thereof, do not affect reality.
Okay, so it wasn't.
That's right.
I think you might have that in reverse, miss, if you don't mind my saying so. Your being on the defense assumes that mortals are always going to be on the attack, but they ain't always going to go for it, not even on fourth down.
What is Fourth Down? Is that a place where mortals go before they die?
It's a place they try to avoid if they want to make the playoffs.
Ew.
I think you are strange as I am. I like you.
I like you too, Maddie. I'm just saying, you're right to protect yourself, but don't assume everyone's on the attack because of it. But don't let me interrupt you. You figured out how to get mortals to help you, and then?
Well, my devoted little perverts were very helpful, but they had a very nasty habit of getting caught disposing of bodies. Policemen would shoot them into little bloody giblets. I don't like policemen very much.
I haven't had a good track record with lawmen either.
That's why I don't use them as my helpers. I can't trust them not to take their guns out and go, pow, pow, blam, 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 blam. Oh, I'm dying. My guts are falling out. Oh, why, policemen? Why?
Pretty good. Better than Edmund's.
If my blood dogs died, it would mean I couldn't get a fresh supply of blood without doing very risky things. I realized that the more blood bags I had, the safer I'd be. That's what.
I guess that makes some kind of sense.
Dang it. I didn't finish reading.
Oh, it was so exciting though, little mouse. All of a sudden, I could make people do whatever I wanted without having to leave my flat at all. I had so many fans, and they would disappear, but then they would be replaced by even more, just like insects. It was very easy back then. All you had to do was say you were a girl, and the grabby little grubs would come out of their holes. Ah, we want vaginas.
Emotional reading. Overgeneralization. Grubby little grubs.
So I ain't exactly gonna defend how menfolk act on the internet, but going back to what we were saying before, using these funny labels of yours probably makes it easier to fall into the overgeneralization trap. If you label people on the internet grabby grubs, well, that's all you're gonna find. Know what I mean?
Sometimes I think maybe you're a fun vampire. You take all the fun and go...
Delicious.
I ain't trying to ruin your fun, Betty. Just asking you to think about the words you use and why you might be using them.
But then people realized they could say that they were anything on the internet. It was all like a big game. And what do you suppose I said I was, little mouse?
You said you were a dog, you said you were a wizard, you said you were a man. This is the correct answer, but I'm gonna say you were a wizard.
Did you say you were a wizard?
No, I don't like wizards.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I guess I don't either. Always cheating at cards. That ain't right.
I think you're thinking of magicians, little mouse. I said I was a vampire.
Well, that sounds kind of dangerous. I'm surprised you were so open about it after all you've been through.
Oh, but as far as they knew, I was only pretending to be a vampire because you could be anything you wanted to be. Sometimes they would come to meet me in person and they were so surprised when I drank all of their blood. But I don't think they minded very much.
Mind reading. Talk about mind reading. You don't know if
I think that was my favorite time of the internet. There was a little place there for everyone, even me. I ran a web ring for vampires. We had our own websites where we would invite people to come let us drink their blood. I suspected some of the others were actual vampires, but even I didn't know. That's what made it so special. We would send V-mails to one another and talk about vampire things. Oh, of course, it was nothing more than silly games.
It's qualifying the puzzle.
Sounds like it was maybe more than silly games. Seems to me you had yourself a group of friends.
Yep.
I suppose it must have been. How strange. Never really thought about it that way. Yes, I liked them, and they were my friends.
Yeah. Some of them friends were probably mortals.
I was friends with mortals? How bizarre. Anyway, I think for the only time ever in my life, I had a community.
Gosh, you actually make it sound pretty nice. Maybe I should get a little more into this internet thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're too late for that, internet little mouse. It's all gone now.
Well, dang, what happened? Where did the whole internet go?
It went to social media. Face Friend and Gibber and Stumbler and all those. Instead of looking for people like us, we just started asking the entire world to pay attention to us instead.
Well, that don't make too much sense to me. Sometimes when I was walking in the deep woods at night, I just used to have a good yell, but I didn't expect nobody to answer.
But that silly little mouse. The darkness is always listening, and something will always call back. We just don't know who or what.
I'm having a little trouble following. So it sounds like you had a group of people you trusted, and then just anyone?
That's right. I didn't know who they were. They just started following me. And some of them followed me because they thought I was pretty, and some because they thought I was strange, and some because their friends were following me. Suddenly, I had 1 million mortals who would do anything I wanted them to do, and believe whatever I wanted them to believe.
Damn.
It's easy, you know, little mouse. They want to be controlled, and I can control them all.
They want to be controlled, and I can control them all. You're not blaming because it's easy, because emotionally you feel like it's easy, so you want to control them all. Feeling like their emotions of wanting to be there, then that's just emotional. You're like, I can control them all is also an overgeneralization. I'll take emotional reasoning, but I think it might be overgeneralization.
To control 1 million mortals may be a little ambitious, Samuel. I speak from some experience.
Yeah. Okay.
It's easy.
They want to be controlled? How do you know that?
They live such short, confused lives, full of uncertainty. I'm doing them a favor, Mouseling.
Even if that's true, you still can't read their minds. Maybe they don't want that favor. Maybe they don't know they're uncertain. Heck, maybe they even like uncertainty.
Oh, silly cowboy. They don't know what they want or don't want. The only problem is that I have so many of them to take care of. The problem with having so many followers is that I have to feed them so much content. Even just playing video games all the time can be a lot of work.
And you said that taking that break didn't do much for you, huh? You were just thinking about all the work you have to do for your followers?
That's right.
It sounds like you might have a bit of an addiction, Betty. I gotta question whether having all these followers is a good thing for you. Having friends is nice, but these fans and zealots, well, it sounds like you've taken on a big task.
It is. But I can't help that they're so very needy. If they weren't so hungry all the time, I wouldn't have to feed them.
Blaming them.
I gotta say, you gotta
It's
take
their
on some of
fault.
the burden of this decision to feed all those fans of yours. Feeding them ain't your responsibility, you know. They can beg and whine all they like. You don't need to do a damn thing you don't want to do. And they don't need you as much as they think.
Some of them say that I'm codependent.
Are they?
Well, I think those might be the ones who actually give a damn about you.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't know. At least there are some that need a little less attention. It's the zealots who are the most demanding.
Remind me again, who are these zealots?
From my Only Zealots page. The website where I show my breasts and vulva.
Oh yeah, that one.
Don't be scared, little mouse. You're acting like a mortal. It's just squishy parts, we all have them. They're not special.
Oh, fair enough. I'm just not a very European vampire yet. So, these zealots, they take up a lot of your time?
Yes. It's frightfully bothersome. But they're ever so reliable. And someone has to go deal with my landlord and my computer upgrades. And go to prison for me if necessary.
Well, dang, it sounds to me like you're asking way too much of each other. This can't be healthy. Isn't there a better amount of interaction on these websites?
But I always know best when it comes to the internet.
God.
I have more followers than just about anyone, Little Mouse. There's something more, though, about the internet and how it works. It's a secret, though. Can you keep a secret, Little Mouse?
Nope, not to save my life.
Nothing you say leaves this
I
room.
mean, yes, I can.
Well, the secret is that the internet is changing. Because of me.
Personally.
Maybe I know you've got a lot of followers, but the internet changing to fit you? That's a lot to swallow.
But what if it's true? I think it's true. I really do. I see it changing.
All right, there it is. You think it's true, but you ain't sure. There's mortals and vampires all over that thing. None of us are that special. There's probably a lot of people out there feeling the same thing you are.
Oh, but I know something they don't know.
How do you mean?
I discovered something. Do you know how I told you that the internet used to be a nice way to meet people who thought the way I
She's gonna be
did?
talking about the dark web, isn't she?
Well, yeah, I think I got that.
Well, something there in the darkness is helping me. It makes people think they know me and want to follow me and be close to me, even if they wouldn't normally like me. It has been watching everything the mortals have been doing for a long time, and it remembers all of it, no matter how big or small. It counts every second, it remembers every click, it can tell you what you want before you even know it.
Well, you gotta be kidding me. Is this some kind of elder vampire?
I don't know, but it's growing very quickly. I learned how to speak with it.
Yep. AI.
It calls itself the algorithm.
Oh.
And it's hungry, even hungrier than we are.
Never mind. I was wrong.
It's the creature that told all those mortals to follow me in the first place. It decides what and how much content I need to make. It's probably listening to us right now. It says, I told you, the darkness is always listening.
Mitty, if what you're saying is true, I think this is some really dangerous shit. This algorithm sounds like it's trying to turn humanity into a big formula.
But it's doing it. What if all mortals really are just the same?
Overgeneralization.
Mitty, I don't think that's true. You said it yourself. People used to find each other because of their similarities, right?
Yep.
Now this algorithm, I don't think it's proving humanity is all the same. I think it's trying to push humanity all in one direction. It's trying to make them all the same.
But why would it want to do that?
I don't know. I just got a bad feeling about this.
Didn't you say that feelings don't make something real?
I know. I don't know. I think I don't know enough to say yet. Maybe. But Mitty, one thing I am sure of is that this algorithm thing is hurting you. It's telling you what content to make. Who the hell is it anyway? I gotta ask you to think about what you want. Pretend there ain't no zealots and there ain't no fans. What would you be doing if they weren't around?
Are you alright, Little Mouse? You're going quite pale, which is impressive for a vampire. I don't wish to worry you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just tell me you're gonna do something for you this month.
Well, I used to make my own clothing. I could try to do that if it would make you feel better, my sweet little rodent.
What'd make me happy, Mitty, is you doing something just for you. Does that sound good?
All right. I'll try then. I will see you next month.
Of course. You take care of yourself. I'll be looking forward to seeing what you've sewed up next time.
Then, farewell, Little Mouse. I hope you find a nice hole to scurry into.
Hey, did you get that stuff about the algorithm? You ever heard about anything like it?
I am not eager to reveal such things to you, but there are sleeping terrors that could certainly consume us if we are unlucky enough for them to awaken. But this, no. I am not aware of any such creature. What Mitty described, a creature that takes note of every small change in nature, sounds like a force of nature itself. I will make inquiries. Do not fear, Samuel. Even if such a beast truly exists, it cannot change our nature as long as we are true to ourselves. This only proves how important our work is, does it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I got a little spooked, but we'll be fine.
You know what might make you feel better? Dancing.
I ain't that shook up, Andy. Maybe I'll go down and get me a drink, though.
I will not probe, though I
Isn't it
am
end with him
curious
dancing,
about
isn't
your
it?
aversion to dancing. When you are ready to speak of it, I am here.
You're gonna be waiting a while, boss.
As long as it is less than eternity, I will be here.
Okay, you go do your wise old vampire wizard thing, and I'll go drink some blood. I'll see you later, Andy.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Samuel.
Another night, another soul canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Can't believe someone as old as Meddy's letting anyone control her. I guess some problems don't disappear no matter how old we get. Well, time to get some bartender wisdom. Howdy, Crimson. Think you could whip me up one of them bloody Steves?
Sure thing, cowboy. Tough night at the office.
Oh, just got some of them existential questions lingering on my mind. Can you believe someone can be 1,800 years old and still let society tell them what to do?
I can believe it. Folks can get real uncomfortable when someone shows up and does things differently.
Oh, no kidding. My client's a weird one, but I think that's what makes her special. Just wish she saw it the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Think you're making some headway, Chief? How's your session go?
I'm getting somewhere with her, slowly but surely. She does a lot for other people, but not a lot for herself.
Yeah.
Now that makes her real popular, but I think she's realizing that popularity ain't what it's cracked up to be. She's got her own strengths, and I hope she'll lean on them.
You're a rare one, Sam.
When you're not strong.
I get where she's coming from. Lawyers like rules, even about lawyering. My colleagues didn't care much for my style, so I had to adapt. But they'd get so bogged down in doing something right that they'd stop getting anything done.
How do you like to do things then?
I told you how case law's my thing, right? Well, I studied the worst cases. The ones where injustice prevailed because some corrupt judge invoked some ancient precedent. I used their tools against them, made them look like fools. What goes around comes around, right?
And your colleagues weren't into that?
Hell no. No one was gonna listen unless I was polite and civil. But power never listens to polite and civil.
You got that right. Well, that's a shame, Crimson. Sounds like they lost a hell of a lawyer.
They sure did. Now, I got that drink for you. Sorry, no bloody Steves this time. This one's a Gunther.
I'm sure I'll love it. I'll take it up to my coffin for a day cap. You have a good night, Crimson.
You too, cowboy.
Ah, there we go. Nice and cozy. Now, let's see. I can read Emerson. I think he's got a piece that'll help me reflect on the night. Or I could watch Charlie Chaplin make lawmen look like fools.
Yeah, you know what? What's caught being caught?
Reminds me of back in the old days. Ain't no lawman who could stop Sam Walls.
I respect the fact that they actually have that little TV for us to watch. Granted, copywriting most likely gonna happen. Technically, this is a film, so maybe not. Honestly, I should see the old movies again. I never got to see media from the past. I might did. Charlie Chaplin is good. I want to know the reasons. That'd be interesting to see.
Well, I think that'll do it for me tonight. Time for some shut-eye. Think I've got some tough battles ahead.
One more. One more. One more. I think that the last time.
There he is, Samuel Walls, vampire therapist extraordinaire. How are you feeling tonight?
Alright. Time to save. It has come to, 3 hours into it. Technically, the game only goes 4 or 5 hours. From what I remember reading before. Anywho. Blood of Choice, Spanish Knights, Fathom Below. I got a DLC. I don't know what these are. I'll look into them later. Well, it was fun. Always interesting to learn more about psychology. It was. I still need to finish playing Alice Madness Returns. That would be very fun to keep going. I'm gonna finish this one off first, though. And maybe I should play Ori. Ori would be fun. We'll see. For those of you that have watched this, for those of you that are watching currently, or in the future, whatever it may be, first off, thank you very, very much for going on this journey with me. Again, I really appreciate it. I hope that you're getting a lot from this, as I feel like I am. Always a pleasure to do this, even though I just started and stuff like that. But the idea that this game could be something that people follow to learn more about themselves, or, I mean, just to think that there is something that we could learn, find ways to find happiness, find peace of mind. I think peace of mind is the most important thing. Finding peace of mind within ourselves is very, 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 very difficult to do, but it is possible as long as we look for it. And yeah, it's been a long journey for me, and I still feel like I'm not there exactly, but I do love and appreciate everything that I deal with. I hope it could be the same for you all. I hope you all have a wonderful night if you're resting. Sleep well, sweet dreams. And if you're going through your day, may your day be a restful one, filled with growth. And even if times get hard or anything's bugging you, I hope that you're able to overcome any obstacle and keep being the best person that you want to be. Not you have to be, but who you want to be. So, again, thank you very much, and have a